March 2023, a group of researchers formed the Truth Mafia, a collective determined to investigate conspiracies and occult mysteries that have been buried for centuries. With a passion for uncovering the truth, they delve into the darkest corners of history, pop culture, and ancient mysteries, seeking answers to questions that have plagued humanity for ages. The Truth Mafia is led by Tommy Truthful, a man shrouded in mystery and intrigue, dedicated to uncovering the hidden truths behind some of the world's most perplexing and enigmatic phenomena. Their research has led them down countless rabbit holes, from deciphering ancient symbols to exploring the hidden meanings behind popular media and literature. Despite the risks and challenges they face, the Truth Mafia remains steadfast in their quest for knowledge. Will their investigations lead to groundbreaking revelations, or will they unravel an even deeper web of secrets and lies? Only time will tell in this ongoing saga of conspiracy and intrigue.
This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107. Today's podcast is sponsored through Body Align in their Energy Wellness Disc. Their bracelet, they're amazing. Got mine on right now. Helps with the 5G, many different things. The guy that developed it was involved with developing 2G technology. It has all that shungite and another element grounded up in the wristband. So really cool. That's down in the description. Promo code Truth Mafia. And we got an amazing episode for you today. You can also become a member of the Truth Mafia and join the mob. We just dropped a brand new video. If you're already on Donut's Patreon, a member of Donut's Patreon, I believe he has the video over there too. And it is Fallout. I decoded the whole series of Fallout, so it's pretty good. You can watch that on there. And I got a special guest today. We'll get into that in just a second. Again, all the links are down in the description where we do our bookings and our readings. That's over on truthfultv.com. We just offered a new service over there today, and we added some new things to the shop too. So make sure you guys go check that out. That's also on truthfultv.com. Big sale going on over there. So we're going to get it right after this.
The Truth Mafia, led by Capo de Capi Tommy Truthful, alongside his underboss Donut Factory, the consigliere Anio Saru, and Capo Paranoid American of paranoidamerican.com, all united under one flag to combat censorship and champion free speech. Become a made member today. Click the link in our bio on Instagram, in the description on all other platforms. Join the Truth Mafia, become untouchable. Play your part in this vital information warfare at truthmafia.com.
Little Donut looks all gangster right there in that video. Shout out to Donut. And Donut and Logan are the special guests today. How are you brothers doing?
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo. What up? Thank you.
What up?
Excited.
Bro, that intro, dude, made me look hella cool.
It does kind of make you look cool. I got to throw Logan up in there. The Paranoid American made it. I had to shorten it. The original video, that's shortened to 45 seconds. It was like 2.5 minutes long. So I shortened it down, but it's pretty cool, you know. It was nice of him to make that for me. So I like to use it. I think it makes us look pretty cool. And it was when I was about 80 pounds lighter, so I look way better in that picture. You know what I'm saying? It sucks getting old, guys, I'll tell you. But today we got a amazing episode. I'm really excited about this one. We're going to talk about the 13 days of preparation going into Beltane, which we're in right now. There's major astrological alignments taking place, and we're going to also me and Donut. I don't know if Logan got to see this movie because it just came out. But
Not.
yeah, he didn't get to see it. It was so good.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
called.
knew it was going to be good. I told everybody because I'm a video editor, so I could spot out what films will be good and what will be bad. And I knew this film was going to be dope because of the aesthetics were very similar to Stranger Things, and I like it when they use that kind of old style mixed in with new. It was tight.
So, the audience don't know what we're talking about because we didn't even mention the film yet. Late Night with the Devil. And let me tell you, I knew nothing about this movie. Donut told me. He's like, yo, Tommy, he was so excited about it. And it came out on 3/22. So, hey, Donut, if it came out on 3/22, why did it not get released until like yesterday or the day before?
It was out in the movie theaters on 3/22. I got the a slide you could pop up. What was cool, I knew it was going to be dope, and they got the owl right here. So right off the bat, I'm like Bohemian Grove, but maybe a stretch. But then in the film, as you can see right here, the guy does a satanic like ritual to rise to power at Bohemian Grove. And then after they show that, they show him doing that shush that all the celebrities who get quite famous for after, maybe doing some sort of ritual. But this grossed like $666,000. But Logan, he was talking about this being the year of the dragon, right? And the wood fire. And I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about this 13 days of preparation. It's something that I just learned a few years ago through Tommy, but I'm very aware of Beltane, May 1st, the day the Illuminati was founded on 5/1. But this was released to Amazon on April 19th, right? It was technically April 18th in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm at, which is the big Aleister Crowley Day. So this has a lot of weird symbolism. But look, it is a man on fire, right? In this exact same day, there was a man on fire over there with the Trump thing. And it just seems like it's the same day that Waco took place as well. So, connecting it to fire rituals and whatnot. Yeah. But that's it. I like to know what y'all have in store for this, for sure.
Well, since you mentioned the Late Night with the Devil and the Bohemian Grove, before I forget, with the movie, that was a major part of the movie, Donut. At the end, you realized that he gave up his wife as a sacrifice for fame. And you got that part of it, right? And
oh yeah.
And the entity that he was talking to in the movie, guys, they didn't say like, oh, it's the devil or something like that. They used some real entities that I believe the elites are working with, like Abrasics. That's literally what they were talking to, Abrasics. And it came through this girl on the screen. Like, it was crazy. It was some exorcist type stuff. And yeah, the intro is so telling, and I thought it was going to be like some old documentary when it first started, because the way it started, Donut, I'm like, what is going on with this? Did this really happen? Is it a documentary? I couldn't figure it out at first. But like you said, within the first like 12 minutes, they really showed a lot in that film, didn't they?
For sure. Now, this is totally looks AI generated, this image.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It probably is, because the films are all using AI now. Yeah, I guarantee it's AI generated. Look at all the mishaps in the back of it when you really look at them images.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this going on back there in the background? You can always tell AI too if you look at people's hands. Usually, it'll give it away. AI is not the best at hands. Like, look at that.
Yeah, this guy has 6 hands, 6 fingers. Good call.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Well, maybe he does it, but it looks
But
like
it's still, look at the hand. That does not look like a real hand.
Yeah.
That's AI generated. I can guarantee it. Yeah. And if we have Paranoid American on here, he's an expert at that. So they've been using AI in the films. And my brother Logan, you pretty much think it's AI running all this whole shebang we're in, anyways, right, bro?
Well, there is a layer to postulate on that notion for sure that there's a computer that's running this entire reality. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree. I used to be like just straight believe in flat Earth and more of the Bible, which I still believe in a creator. I think there's a source that created all this, but it just now I'm kind of leaning more towards man-made religion is a control mechanism, maybe created by these archons, Abraxas and his homeboys, or whatever you want to call them. And if you really read into the Gnostics and about these archons that were in the Late Night with the Devil, they are kind of computer AI, like their description sounds very AI. You know what I mean? Very like they're mixed with robotics and it's hard to explain, but
Yeah. Well, consider Abraxas is tied to Jupiter, right? So the 365, which is what Abraxas's numerology is, that will lead you to Jupiter, Zeus, and the mighty Thor, et cetera, et cetera. In the Gnostics, in the archons, you would have the Yao, which is tied to Jupiter, which is in that lineup would be number 6. So
wow. In Jupiter Ascending,
yep.
The movie Jupiter Ascending, the ruling family that goes around and harvest, so they seed a planet, let it get to its maximum population size, and then they come and harvest that planet, which they pretty much kill all the humans, and they make this element that is the nectar that they bathe in. And it allows them to live for 14, 15,000 years. It takes 100 humans to make one vial. And guess what the name of that family is? The Abraxas family, bro.
Yep. Yep. The actors that were chosen to portray the Abraxas family are very interesting with the numerology. I started breaking down Jupiter Ascending. I haven't finished that decode. I have that one shelved, but I do have that in the works.
Oh my God, dude. I can't wait till you do that one, Logan.
Yeah.
Because I decoded it a long time ago, but I was really more looking at the symbolism of it and stuff back then. I wasn't into gematria like I am now. I was more doing symbolism at that time, but it's amazing. Like just all the coding in that, the bee symbolism, how the bee wouldn't sting the girl because she was from royalty. Then you look into the bee, which really represents the fleur de lis, and the fleur de lis is tied into the Merovingian bloodline, which that bee was a major symbol of their lineage, right? This bee symbol. Yeah. So it represents that whole hive mind. It always seems to go back to some alien AI type technology, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, consider too that the Matrix, the Wachowskis ended up doing the Matrix. They do Jupiter Ascending, and the Matrix came out in 1999 on March 24th. And March 24th is the Queen of Clubs card, which is Donut's birth card, but that's card number 25. And that is the card of Jupiter. I mean, in the cards of illumination, in the card charts, the boilerplate chart in the smack dab, the Jupiter card is the Queen of Clubs card, the Queen of Clubs and the 10 of Diamonds. And the 10 of Diamonds is your card, Tommy. So you have your card and you have Donut's card, which sit in the Jupiter line. And here we are talking about the Matrix, the series of the Matrix, which was all tied to that and being plugged in. And then you have the Jupiter Ascending, which was the House of Abraxas, which is Jupiter, tied to Jupiter and the mighty Zeus. Then you can tie it right into They Live. the movie with Roddy Piper, because Zeus in the Greek numerology is 54, and that's the news station that was broadcasting the hypnotic trance in They Live, which was telling you to obey, consume, don't ask questions, et cetera, et cetera. So there are all these, like John Carpenter, like how are all these things continually showing up exactly this way is mind-blowing. And then you can get into so many other layers. Now you get into this movie here, and I haven't even watched it, but the main actor, David D., he was born on the 21st, and in the medicine card deck, the card number 21 is the freaking owl card. And this is made by a couple of Native Americans, Jamie Sims, who's passed away, and another artist. These people are not in a could be conspiracy to try to get one past you, but they create the owl card being card number 21, and the owl is a huge layer to the esoteric and the occult.
Well,
Yeah.
Drake's all in the news right now with pop culture, and he's known as the Owl. So I'm sure there's even a bigger connection to look into with that. With your breakdown, how I was talking about, you were saying it was the year of the wood dragon. Look out for the fires. We're showing this fire stuff. I've implemented that in all of my videos and decodes in my head, even if I don't express it. Yeah. But you, before we came on, you were bringing up a couple dates that I found very interesting, because Tommy brought up this 128 code to me, because I was showing him Leave the World Behind 128, 12/8 is when it was released, December 8. And the bridge just collapsed at 1:28 a.m. Now, Joe Biden sent an emergency text alert to America at 2:18, which is 812 backwards or something like that, and the year of this wood fire dragon ends on January 28th on 128 as well. I'm very interested in knowing about this August stuff, or anything with that number involved.
Well, yeah, consider that the documentary Cryptopia, which has a series, the locker number that they opened up to show a hand putting crypto into the locker number 821, which kind of says, maybe August 21st. So we had talked about this before we got on this broadcast of maybe August 12th or August 21st, big days to look out for in the future on the calendar.
Yeah, because that is the text message time that it got sent out. And that is super important, because anyone who's new that doesn't know, the last text message that got sent out at Hawaii at 8:08 to the 8:08, then on 8:08 around this helical rising time in August, it went up into flames. So, yeah.
In the Jubilee, which is tied to the 50 and the 50th state, right?
Right. And so, yep. The 50th state, the 50th year of hip hop, the 50th year of Pink Floyd, all the 50's a huge. That's why I've been looking out for that 50 Cent, bro. 50 Cent.
Well, remember Bitcoin, 50 Bitcoin mined when it first came out in 2009. The card, it came out on the first release was January 3rd. That's the Jack of Spades card. That's the 50th card in the deck. So these are all referencing the why the 50. What is this 50? What is it all about? Well, when you add on all the layers that I can add on, and then what you guys can add on, you can start to see that all of us would have to be on some big conspiracy to get one past you, to try to pull the woolly over your eyes, to try to knock you out. Well, this kind of stuff. This is what some people think. And folks, I'm here to tell you, this is my opinion now. I'm not speaking for Donor or Tommy, but I'm telling you straight up that what the research shows is that we live inside of a code that's ruling over this reality, and it ain't man or woman running it. You're just along for the ride. So when you're doing something, just do it. Go do it. I was listening to Jordan's great podcast today. I was caught some of his stuff, and
shout out to Waters.
Well, shout out to Waters, and he was saying, he's like, just stop paying attention to just go do what you got to do, and don't worry about what's going to happen. Just go do it, man. Go do what you want to do. Get some courage to get out there. If you're asking the question, should I go on vacation? Should I move my house? You're asking. This is the message. Go do it. Stop. There's a great meme. The road is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make a decision. Don't be a flat squirrel. Make the decision to cross the damn road. Go left or right. Don't just sit there and juke and wait for the car to run you over. That's making the decision in this reality. So
very masculine, making decision.
Yeah, Mars, right? Make a freaking decision, Mars.
Yeah, I do that too. Where I'll be going. I'm like, man, this isn't a good time to go, but I'm going. I've never let things like that stop me. I've always gone because you gotta have faith, to go. Encourage. Well, you said it, courage. That was the good word.
Yeah. So let's create a foundation here, shall we? So if you're somebody here, I would ask you this. Do you believe that death is the final frontier? That's it. When you die, you're done. You're done. That's it. There's no more, nothing. That's it. Well, if you don't believe that, if you think death is just a doorway to another dimension, then who gives a shit what decision you make, man? You're always going to be exactly where you need to be. And if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And then you just get to go on to the next dimension. So just stop being the squirrel juking around. Just go do what you got to do. I love the mentality that you have, Donut, where, hey, I'm just going to go do, and that's how I'm at. I used to be that, pole shift guy, running or like, what am I going to do? And this is when I was in bed. I was watching a lot of Alex Jones and stuff. And, I was really living in a fear-based reality, reacting instead of acting. I don't do that anymore. I'm in my own little bubble and I act without reacting based upon what they're doing. Don't care what they're doing. Not interested in what they're doing.
Right.
What do you got to say about that, Tommy?
What?
What do you got to say about that?
That's a good way to live. I wish I'd need to practice it more, because I'll definitely pay attention to what them little fuckers do. But I do love that about you. And I definitely agree with you that we are in some type of a simulation. I might have a little different theory on that. Because with my theory, I think just like how me and you know about it, I think there's other people that know about it and they might know how to hack and manipulate it. I think they might even have technology to help them. But this is just my opinion and, kind of something I'm looking into. I mean, really, the one thing I think we can all admit, though, is that we are definitely in some type of simulation. If you just know, like Donna, even you've been looking at gematria enough now and the numbers to realize something's up with it. I know I'm not making my name and stuff add up to what it is, unless there are times I do it on, like I'll go live at certain times or stuff like that, but my name just equals what it does, and when I started doing readings and decodes, I'm like, these are just normal people out here. There's no way they're doing that. And, at one time back in the day, I thought like everything, like some secret society was sitting in a room and making every number add up a certain way. And that was just from the teaching of certain people was teaching that way at that time. Now, with the number 52, bro, I've been looking into it for a long time now because, Donut, when is Pentecost? Because I know the Feast of Pentecost was celebrated by the Jews 50 days after Passover. Is Pentecost, is that the one that's in May 18th or 19th?
It says May 19th. I don't think it's a Jewish thing though. But it says not. Yes, it's not. It's not. It's a Christian holiday.
Well, the Feast of Pentecost was celebrated by the Jews 50 days after Passover, though.
Okay, so maybe it's saying that not to be confused with the Jewish holiday of Shavuot.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were celebrating, and the Christians turned it into Pentecost or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because that happens a lot.
Well, I always love Jordan Maxwell's explanation of Passovering into springtime.
But my point with all this is that was that day that during the eclipse that with all the towns that Nineveh, which we found out, did a fact check on that and said it only went through 2 towns named Nineveh, not 8, which actually they were talking about the path of totality. So the path of totality of the eclipse touched 2 towns named Nineveh, and then it touched 6 towns of partial eclipse.
Yeah, but how about this? How about this? We're still here.
Yeah, we are definitely
Hey,
still.
here we are, man. We're still here, baby.
But bro, that
12
wasn't
days later.
The prophecy was 40 days after.
Right, I get it. I know. I'm just.
You get what I'm saying?
I
So
know,
that
yeah.
would take us to May 18th or 19th.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see if anything happens around that time.
So you're saying that the eclipse date, 50 days after, lands on Pentecost?
No.
40 days.
40
Oh,
days,
40
because
days.
that's tied to that Jonah verse. But then the number 50, the Feast of Pentecost, was celebrated by the Jews 50 days after Passover, not the eclipse. You know what I'm saying? After Passover. It's 40 days after the eclipse. As far as that's what it says when I look into the number 50. And there were 50 men searched Elijah during the 3 days without finding him. The width of Noah's Ark was in cubits 50. So this number 50 you see over and over and over and over again, which really fascinates me. I've been looking into that number for a minute now. There's so much. You could just keep going with the number 50, but it's supposed to be a very holy number too. And one thing I found interesting, Logan, like there was a lot of gods that had 50 sons, dude. When I went down that whole thing, they say the moon's 50 times smaller than the earth, which, you know, who knows if that's true.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Tommy.
The brother of, I can't pronounce his name, Aegeus, Aegeus, he had 50 sons that Theos killed. And then King of Acadia had 50 sons that were exterminated by Zeus, Jupiter.
Yeah.
So there's this whole 50 thing. Prima had 50 sons that were killed. And one of the last ones was named Paris that caused the Trojan War. Remember that?
Yep.
That was that whole Trojan thing. They made a film about it, actually. Remember? With Brad Pitt.
Yep. Troy,
very great film.
very good film.
Well, on the $50 bill, it shows the dam collapsing, right?
Yeah, Hoover Dam could be a big one. You know, that which could lie. Well, that would tie into the power grid, but I think ultimately the thing that's going to happen, and whether or not it's controlled or it's happening organically, it's the collapse of the physical dollar that's going to push us into a digital currency. That's what I keep seeing over and over in the code. You know, is it seems like the dollar is going to go pretty soon, which maybe that's tied into that Bitcoin stuff and all that. But
so what's up with this 13 days of preparation? What's this all about?
okay, so this is a 13-day festival that takes place April 19th through May 1st. And, you know, there's a lot of famous things that happen during, I don't know if that's what you want to call them, famous, but a lot of tragic events. And May 1st is supposed to be the day the Illuminati formed, May 1st of 1776. But
well, that was the day we had to turn in all our gold as well to go onto the fiat currency.
Oh, was it May 1st? Yeah. Okay, so then there was like all these events that happen around this time of the year. And why I wanted to do it with Logan, because I like how he looks at it from a whole different angle than me and you. You know, he looks at it as being organic completely, which like I said, I do agree that a lot of it is organic, but I do think some's manipulated. April 19th is the first day of the 13-day satanic ritual day relating to the fire god Baal or Moloch, Nimrod, the sun god, also known as the Roman god Saturn, Satan, the devil. You know, it's just multiple different things they give for him. And here's some events that took place around this time. Now, they always pop it off early. And if you guys remember, what did I tell you? What day did I say to watch out for? April 15th. And then what do we have happen on April 15th?
Boston bombing.
Well, yeah, that's original. Yep. Good job. That was the original April 15th, the Boston bombing.
The Titanic.
Yep. And then, well, this year we had Dubai, the storms in Dubai. And what else was on April 15th this year, Donut? Didn't we have some other stuff happen besides Dubai?
You know, it's slipping my mind.
CERN. That was their last day. Right?
So CERN, it was April 15th here, April 16th in Dubai. And that was the last day CERN was activated. And Dubai turned green. And this is my hypothesis from 2022, because the last time CERN was activated, Sioux Falls turned green. And they're digging up dark matter there. And so I thought Sioux Falls was going to turn green during the CERN activation, but Dubai turned green with all that weather stuff.
And green, let me grab my drink. Green.
My drink.
Green is Cernunnos, right? Cernunnos is the Celtic lord of hell. They call him the corn god, the god of the witches. And he's the green god. So all that.
Oh,
green,
interesting.
Yeah, Osiris is green. Cernunnos is known as the green god. And this whole, which green represents our heart chakra and resurrection. You know, Osiris with his color, it kind of symbolizes resurrection from what I've learned. Anyways, is that true, Logan?
It could. I mean, I think if you go in the number spectrum, like if you're a decoder and any number you get, you can compare it against the 7. Now, Tommy, I know you're big into using the septenary cipher, which is an amazing cipher if you're using it exclusively by itself, and then comparing things against it. But the 7 base numbers, the 7 base colors, you can compare any number against it to find out where it sits in that spectrum. So if you get any number, you divide it by 7. And you're going to get a total, and then you just subtract until you get to 7 or below. That'll tell you where it sits on the spectrum. The number 4 in the color green is a very special number in color, because no matter which way you place the chakras, like if you look at a rainbow, red's at the top and violet's at the bottom. But chakras, through the systems we know of, it's the flip. The red's at the bottom indicating the root, and the violet indicating the crown. But if you flip them, no matter which way you look at them, green is always going to stay in the middle. And this may be indicating 4D reality, the 4D reality.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the heart chakra, which is green, right?
It definitely is influencing a lot of our reality when it comes to energy and all that. So Logan, before I'm going to finish breaking down this 13 days of preparation. But before I do that, what do you think about loosh? Do you know about loosh energy?
Of course. Yeah. It's just simply energy being harvested.
Right. Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I think they looshed us real good with that whole eclipse thing, dude. Reporters were crying. It was weird. I watched all these videos where like, people were crying when the eclipse happened. Now, there's this whole theory that during the eclipse, they used the energy to open this interdimensional gateway with CERN. And this was strange, bro. It went viral like the whole week leading up to the eclipse. They were telling everybody to wear red and green. Now, they said to wear red and green due to, it's weird. Word, it starts with a P. I'll pull it up and show you. Where red and green.
So with the 7.
Hold on one second, Donut. Let me break because I'll forget what I'm going to say. So with the eclipse, there was this crazy conspiracy, right? That it was called Project Pegasus, and they used the energy, the looshing energy from all the people to open an interdimensional stargate and let these entities in. And that's what they called them aliens, but they were some type of interdimensional entity. And they're saying that that's what we seen during the eclipse. The craft went around the backside of it. And then we had this crazy anomaly on the 9th, the day after the eclipse, which was the anniversary of Prince Philip and DMX dying on Lil Nas X's birthday. And that was the day like 80-foot waves happened down in Antarctica. And so what the conspiracy is of this whole thing is that them entities, they were allowed to come into this reality and given a piece of a certain part of Antarctica down there, and they dove their crafts into the water. So that's the whole conspiracy side of it. But when the person that was supposed to be a whistleblower was breaking it down, and I never really trust whistleblowers, I always wonder where they just come from. But you know, because he didn't really give us any info on himself. So anyone, I could go make a video and say I'm a damn whistleblower.
Well, I think everybody here, we all are. We're all whistleblowers in a sense.
Yeah, we are. But he might have been. His story. One thing I did believe about his story, though, like he knew what he was talking about when he was talking about Loosh. And he was saying that they tried to open the portal with CERN several times and they couldn't get enough energy. So they had to use Loosh energy. That's what the entities told them. So they promoted the whole eclipse thing. They got them to wear certain colors, like it was a major ritual to be able to open that interdimensional gateway. And I thought that was just, you know, kind of a cool story. Even if it doesn't end up being true, it's still fascinating.
Yeah, it's a science fiction novel at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, great science fiction novel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're somebody who's using logic and critical thinking, consider that, you know, like how does our reality operate? Through magic. I mean, it's very simple, and then you'd have to define what magic means. So if you're going to have a focused intent of energy, which is magic, on a certain event, you can take that, and that energy will be processed, and it will be used to instigate or agitate or to excite something else. And this is where you're probably going to bolt on all those stories that you just talked about, all those possibilities through conspiracies.
Man, you said that way better than me. And that's how he said it, bro. So how Logan just broke that down. Yes. And it can be used in magic, just like 9/11, that energy can be used and manipulated. And Max Spears, he was a conspiracy theorist in the Super Soldier program. It was kind of funny. He was supposed to do this video exposing like all these black magic cults within the military, that they were studying black magic and doing all this stuff. And then he gets found vomiting up black goo on a couch.
Bro, that's what happened in that movie that we were talking about. Yeah. Remember?
Yep, the dude vomited up black goo, and Devil's what was it called again?
Late Night with the Devil. He was just throwing up black goo.
Where's that movie being shown right now?
You can get it on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's still in theaters, but I'm a big fan of the aesthetic because I'm a video editor. So yep. I thought they did a fantastic job. I knew it was going to be a good film, and then it went into Bohemian Grove. I was like, okay.
I mean, the main star of the I haven't even seen it. I just looked at it. Is David D, right? The main actor is David D. He was born on the 21st. That's the owl card tied to the Bohemian Grove, and his name in numerology equals 51. 51 is tied to 5/1, May 1st date. And we all know what that is. So you can start to connect the dots. You see how ridiculous this code is. And let's not even forget the name David, because this is a big name that's talked about in the Bible. And this is where Jesus is from. Jesus is from the house of David.
Yep.
So once you scrape away all that, and oh man.
It's cool, ain't it, bro, to see how all that's connected?
It's all connected, man. And it's, I actually just decode I did, which will be coming out in public soon, is I did another look on that big topic that we all went through for a couple of years. I'm not going to even say the word, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. It's got the number 19 on the end of it. Yep. I just broke it down with a fresh set of eyes. Yeah, I just broke it down with a fresh set of eyes. And, the very first time that word came out on the world stage was 1968.
Yes, sir.
November 16th, 1968. And then the first reported case of, you know what I'm talking about, was 51 years later in 2019 of December. 51. And of course, the magazine is Nature Magazine, which is a London-based magazine. And what's the latitude north of London? 51 degrees.
Oh, dude,
I just saw somebody sent me something a while ago, but I saw it. But like with this eclipse that went down and that topic that we shall not speak about.
Yes.
from like the eclipse happened in 2017, August 21st. Then all the crazy stuff they're saying happened December 14th, 2020, right in the middle. And then this eclipse, April 8th, 2024, there's like all this 33 in between all of it. So it's like 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days with all of this stuff going down with the sun. And we all know what the sun symbolizes, the rings around the sun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I got something to show you real quick. Speaking of 68, I'm glad Logan brought that up. Hold on, this will load right now, and then I'll be able to expand it full screen for the audience. And then I got that movie pulled up here. If you're new, only go on this site if you have the Brave search engine downloaded. You can't just go on Google and type in Brave and go over. You're still going to get pop-ups. You have to have the Brave search engine downloaded on your computer. And plus, guys, I'm using a VPN. I got a kill switch on this thing. You know what I'm saying?
I don't use any of that crap. I'm in Mexico.
It blocks all the malware ads, all that stuff. Trackers. Yeah, you don't. But here in America,
I know. I'm just having fun, man. I don't.
You're
care.
right, though. Here in America, though, brother, we do. But this is a site called F Movies, and it is spelled FMOVIESZ.com.
Well, what I don't like about this is that you don't get the full HD, and you're also not supporting, like, if you like the director, you know.
Yeah, but Donut, you use it all the time, and so do I. And you can do screenshots, you can record. Netflix, you can't do that. But I do like.
That's true, though.
What
I do, Tommy, like those pictures.
I'm even supporting them, but I have to decode, so I need the pictures. So
yeah, I understand. What I did for this late night with the devil, because it won't let me screenshot it because I purchased it, is I just took a picture of the screen with my
cell phone. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do too.
Yeah, so that over here, that's not a problem. You can just screen.
Oh, well, that looks like a good quality.
It's a perfect quality. It's an HD, perfectly HD, 100%. But yeah, so this movie right here is pretty crazy. But I do agree with what Donut's saying to support the content creator, because I'm a content creator myself. But I'm just telling you guys the reason I do it. And then a lot of the people out here, guys, that are in the audience, they're poor. They can't even afford food because the government's fucking them over so bad. So if they want to steal a few movies, oh well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, consider that no matter what, if you're buying it or not, and I'm not justifying, going to this website and watching. You are supporting the artist just by watching it, no matter where you're watching it from, because it's all loosh and it's energy harvesting. So you're part of it. So you're supporting it no matter what. So there you go.
Yeah, and most of these cinemagicians are casting spells, so you're still part of it, like Logan said. But yeah, man, I was trying to get to that part where he started vomiting up black goo, what Donut was talking about. But that's the skeptic right there. This character is the archetype, the paranoid American. That's the that's the archetype paranoid American plays, the skeptic. He don't, which is I love that about paranoid, but it's not fun. You know, he doesn't really believe in anything. So he's not your average conspiracy theorist because he'll think it's all fake until he researches it, which is a good thing though. Then he researched.
Shout out the paranoid.
Yeah. I tried to get him on here tonight. He was chilling with his girlfriend. Go check out paranoidamerican.com. And like, I thought the whole thing with Albert Pike was totally real, where the 3 letters he wrote about the 3 world wars. There's a video of me and Paranoid American. It got a little heated, you know, but then at the end we just started laughing and we were cool. But I ain't gonna lie, I got pretty mad and out of my hook because I felt like he was saying I was lying, and it wasn't that he was saying I was lying though. He just was saying that letter wasn't true. And guess where I learned it was true from? Zach. So I thought it was from Zach told me that letter was real. That's where I learned it. And then Paranoid's like, nah, dude, that was this whole Leo Taxel dude. It's fake as shit. And then I go research it, and it was fake. It's not real. So I'm like,
well, it comes from like I believe Jordan Maxwell was talking about it, and even if it isn't fake, or I mean, like where it's coming from is obviously like sus because it's coming from a book, so there's no evidence of it. But it does feel like that definitely is the agenda, though, even fake or not fake.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep. And they still let it get out there. So it still got out there and pushed that narrative, which if you believe in the whole thing, universal law that they have to let us know first, it still had that effect on the people. But yeah, I'm happy that he taught me that though, because it allowed me to realize that it wasn't true.
Rest in peace, Jordan Maxwell.
I actually thanked Paranoid American for it after. So let me show you this real quick. How do I go to full screen? All right, let me get down to the 68 part right here. So you were talking about 68, right?
Yep.
And that was when that word was first discovered. That
Yep.
shall not be said.
Yep.
Well, that was the year the Hong Kong flu happened. That was, and you can read the word right here. Here's Forbes, the secret history of the first, you know what? We call it code red over here. Well, 9/11 was made the emergency dialing code that year.
Yep.
That was the same year George Bush graduated Yale University Skull and Bones. And that was the year construction of the World Trade Center started.
Yep.
So 33 years later, 9/11, the World Trade Center comes down. George Bush is the president. It started being built 33 years prior when he graduated Skull and Bones, and they made 9/11 the emergency dialing code. And then 19 years after 9/11, the word you shall not say, the 19 happened, which we're on a 19 Masonic moon cycle, and there was 19 hijacker. So there is some code going on here, Logan.
Yep. Well, consider that there's the band Slipknot off their 2008 album, All Hope Is Gone. They have a song called Gematria, the killing name, and that equals 68 in Chaldean numerology. And the world wars, for World War I, World War II, they add up to the number 68 numerology. The invasion of Ukraine adds up to the number 68 numerology. So these are big numbers, and 68 is tied to the Tetragrammaton. It's tied to the Newsbenders. Can I share my screen, Tommy, so I can just add really quickly to show you this?
Yes, sir. You sure may.
All right, let me see. Oh, you got to probably.
Hold on. Unpresent mine. Stop here. And okay.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, hold on.
And don't worry, guys. We will go down over.
I don't see.
30 days before we end this. I promise.
Let me see if I can. Oh, where's share screen on this?
It's on the present, and then it should be right when you click present at the bottom.
I don't even see that. Oh, there it is. Present. Okay. All right. There we go.
Oh, we got someone arguing in the comments about prayer. Listen, you know what I learned, Kim? It might mean something to one person and mean something else to another. It ain't even worth arguing with them, honey. Just that's your truth. You don't think it is magic, and the other person might think it is magic. So, and thanks to Logan for that, because we all have our own truth. You know what I mean?
Well, like how is even prayer? How is it even a thing in a predestined reality? How does prayer work when something's already scripted and set up and predestined for an outcome? Prayer to me is being gratitude, man. Gratitude, not asking, but just being grateful. That's the true essence of prayer. But anyway, I got this Decode coming out. And if you haven't seen this episode, and you can watch it on YouTube for free, notice what year it came out in, 1968.
You got to present it so I can put it on the screen.
Oh, shit. I don't, hold on. Why not have it? Oh, hold on. Why did I not have it on there?
Yeah, you got to go to share screen.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
And then it'll pop up here and I'll add it.
Wait a minute.
You did it before.
Hold on. It's not letting me grab that, but let me see if I can do it another one.
Yeah, I think it means something different for everyone. And I'm like this, dude. Like, if Allah makes you a better person, if Jesus makes you a better person, if some alien makes you a better person, whatever. Who cares? That's not something.
See my screen or no?
Yeah, that's not something to fight over. And so many people do. You know, so many people kill over religion, and it's just crazy. I think you added.
People kill over opinions, man. That's the bottom line.
This is what you added. This is what you added, buddy.
Can you see my screen?
No, yeah, we see your screen, but it's just showing a bunch of like, you see what's on the screen?
Oh, why is it?
Could you now go to another window? Go to whatever window you're trying to show now.
Right there. Can you see it?
What I would do is when you share the screen, I think you're sharing your full screen, but you could select the window you want to share.
Hold on.
Or if you're going to share your full screen, you have the tab open up at the top. You just go up there and click on it after you share your entire screen.
I did that. It's just not allowing. I hit entire screen, but it's not allowing me to do. Let me see. Yeah, it's the browser can't access your screen. Oh, let me try one more. No, that's not.
And everybody, please smash that like button. Share the video out.
Yeah. Smash them like buttons into my moderators in there.
Can you guys see my screen now or no?
Let me see what you got going on here now. No, it just shows that, brother. What was you trying to show?
Oh, I was just going to show the news, but actually, I don't know why it's not working.
You could drop a link in the comments, and we can click on it in the private chat, and it'll open up.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing it. Okay, well, I'm not sure what I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but let me see. Let me try.
Yeah, it's like when you hit percent. Let me see here. So
when I hit entire screen, I have that. I click on it.
I would do window and then pick the actual window that you want to show. So click like window.
Yeah, well, it's not giving me. It's not giving me. It's giving me a couple options, but not my presentation that I want to show. So.
Oh well, you can go to Microsoft Edge tabs and then pick the exact.
Well, I'm on Chrome. I'm using Chrome. I don't know why it's not working.
Oh, is it? It's a separate Chrome window, browser window, or is it the same browser window you're using for the?
Yeah. I'm clicking on present. I'm in Chrome. I'm on the StreamYard, and I just go down and click the present button, and then it gives me that pop up where you can pick the entire screen, and I did that, and it's not allowing me to.
And okay, so on your Chrome, that's where you're also streaming this. You're on the StreamYard on the same browser with the presentation.
No, the presentation's in a separate window on my computer on my Mac. So,
Okay.
Yes, that's
what I think it's doing is it's showing you the full screen.
yep.
But then you exit out of that full screen and it's still not showing it. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is weird because I always hit entire screen and then I exit out and go. That's why you see like it looks like it's going down the hallway for a second until I.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how it normally looks at my OBS, but yeah, when I click even window, I have window and entire screen. It's not allowing me to do either one.
I know it's so annoying.
Sometimes when it doesn't let me do it, I turn my computer off and turn it back on.
Yeah, well, I'd have to come back in and
yeah.
Yeah, it's just too.
Well, let me just. Well, that's fine. It's no big deal. Tommy, just go to. You can just share your screen. I can help you navigate through it. If you just go to, if you just type in the Newsbenders, 1968.
Can you just drop the link in the private chat?
Yeah.
And I'll just click on it, and then bam, we're in there, brother.
Yeah.
Because my spelling capabilities, I'll be over here fucking everything up.
All right, let me see. But anyway, I wanted to let all of you know that the it's 30-minute theater. The Newsbenders came out in 1968, and it was by Donald Pleasance, the guy who plays the psychologist in the Michael Myers Halloween movie. There's the link right there. If you just click on that, it should pop up.
Okay, now I'll share my screen here back. Oh, you try to give me a little pop up there. Okay, so let me present, share screen. Share screen, boom, share, bam. This one right here.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this, you can watch it on YouTube for free. I had a lot of people in my community that were saying this is what runs our reality. It's a computer, and I was fighting against it. No way. And to this day, still like that. I don't know of a computer because the base story of this is Donald Pleasance invites this guy into his office, into the ivory tower, so to speak, and he wants to offer him a job, and he tells him that the news is created by a computer. And then they take that information and then they put it out onto the world stage, and that's what runs the collective consciousness. And he had said during this episode, I'm not going to give too much away, but he's like, basically, we own you, and if you don't do what we say, we'll shut you off. Okay, but that's the news now, right? So is a quantum computer, and where's the quantum computer at? Where is it coming from? And is the technology so advanced and so old? Because we could talk about these events of cataclysms happening. And then of course, those that know the cataclysms are coming, they take their technology underground. I talked about this with Bashir's in one of the podcasts in Underground Aliens. We talked and postulated this idea where the technology goes underground. And when the emergence of humankind comes up again, after to repopulate, the technology comes up, but it's only allowed to be with a select few. And that's how they run and control this reality. But it's the news and the mainstream, and this would obviously be movies and all that kind of stuff. However, as a decoder, as somebody who decodes, if this is true and it's running the news, that's totally fine. But my question is, what's running me? Because my life continually is scripted. To this day, it is scripted. And I ask people, and Tommy, I asked you this, because a lot of people, oh no, the man's running this and that. Okay, so my question is, first and foremost, to all of you that are on board with the possibility of this idea, number one, do you think that there is an organic code running this reality? That's my first question. And if the answer is yes, if you're like, yeah, there's some kind of organic code running this reality. My second question is, okay, great. Do you think there's a non-org? Do you think man has any say in this? Do you think man is running a non-organic artificial code? And then you would have to say yes or no. If your answer is yes, if you say yes, man is running some of this reality, then I would ask you the third question: where do you make the determination whether the organic code is no longer organic?
Can I tell you my explanation?
Absolutely. I would love to hear your question.
Okay, so like mine, I don't think it's man. I think there was an organic source code created by some creator entity, and it was for a positive thing for maybe us to learn down here like a school. But I think it's been hijacked by an archonic presence that has inserted an AI overlay. And they're the ones manipulating the code, creating this kind of a phantom matrix. So it's like when you take a copy of a website, you have the original website still there, but then you have all these clones of it, and they've created copies of the original. And that's what I think's going on. I don't kind of think it's man. I think they influence, they use men like puppets. You know what I mean?
So when would you say, okay, so there's a copy. Okay. I like this. I mean, I've talked about this on many occasions with other people. When do you think this copy was instituted?
I don't know about that, brother, but that it would be interesting to figure out. I mean, my guess, it's definitely, I think, been around since I've been born, for sure. I was born in 1983, but even I'm thinking, way far back, like maybe when the Adam and Eve time, if that time's real, when any of that was going on, that's when the hijack took place. When maybe that's a whole allegory to that story, when these entities hijacked it and inserted their AI overlay. But I definitely think that's what's going on here. And I think they're the one manipulating the organic code.
Yeah, I mean, well, this episode, I was so fascinated by this episode. I actually contacted, there's two writers, Desmond and Sean, and I reached out to both of them, and I actually got through, and I was messaging Sean directly. I got him on his LinkedIn, and I couldn't get a hold of Desmond. And so Sean, he's an older gentleman, and he was so happy to hear from me. I was like, hey man, I'm a fan of this episode. I am. And I said, how did you come about this whole storyline? And he said, well, actually Desmond came up with it was Desmond's. So you want to reach out to him. And if you reach out to him, tell him I said hi and tell him to reach out to me, because it's been a minute. So I was like, okay, cool. But I never got a hold of Desmond Loudon. What's fascinating is his birthday is on September 27th, which is the Society of Jesus Foundation Day.
Yep. The counteract, the 95 thesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool that you got to reach out to him,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wish Desmond, but I couldn't get a hold of him, but I really wanted to know, like, dude, how did you, to get a straight answer. But it's a very fascinating topic.
Maybe Desmond's the one being influenced by the Archon.
Yeah, maybe that may be the case.
You know what I mean? That he's the one that's being influenced by the Archon, not Sean. And
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not one to pretend like I know everything. I'm just trying to figure it out. It's so fascinating to me. There's definitely something going on here. That much I know, because we see all these connections with that number 68, and I mean it's too much. And then with this 13 days of preparation, right? So here, this is another one, a good topic for us to talk about, because it's a time frame where all these crazy events happen, Logan. Let's take a look. April 15th, Boston Marathon bombing. And now, back in the ancient times, they would sacrifice children to this god Baal and Moloch, and right. We know this happened throughout history. There's many accounts of it. It's not a conspiracy. It's in many religions. So they definitely were doing this. It really ties back to the Phoenicians. In Paranoid American, he has just a fascinating couple episodes on the Phoenicians. He knows like everything about them, and that's what kind of was the Canaanites, and they conquered Carthage, which was where Hannibal was from, and he went over the Alps. They were doing all that sacrificial stuff there, and Rome pretty much destroyed them, but carried on with the sacrifices. So it wasn't like they destroyed them because of what they were doing, because they carried it out. Now, April 15th. So during this time of the year, there's always kids dying, right? We just had all them kids die in the bus drowning. And we seen predictive programming of that in the 2007 movie Trick or Treat, where 8 kids drowned in a bus. And with this one, I think it was like 10 kids. They drowned in a bus, and it was in a location spelled OMAN. And then there's a movie out, The First Omen, OMEN. So them words are very similar, right? But we had that happen. That all start happened on the 15th, the same day as the Boston Marathon, or at least that's the day when the Dubai thing happened. So I think that was the same day it happened. Boston Marathon bombing resulted in 3 deaths, hundreds injured, and 1 child. Now that's happened on the 15th, but Boston went on lockdown, martial law, on April 19th when they were looking for the bombers. But it always starts early. I told you guys this. It always starts around the 15th. I warn the people every year. That's why I always say that day. And then 15 is CERN, HARP. Look, it was all this crazy weather shit going on. They were talking about CERN. It was definitely a talking point. Mainstream media was even talking about it. So if these archons are running the news and manipulating that code, or their supercomputer is the one that's creating the code, it would make sense to me. April 16th of 2007 was Virginia Tech massacre, where 32 students lost their life. April 18th, 2013 was Texas Waco fertilizer plant explosion, causing at least 5 to 15 deaths and hundreds of injuries, located 20 miles north of Waco. So it really wasn't the Waco plant. It was 20 miles north of Waco, but still, you guys get it. April 19th, 1775 was the Battle of Lexington and Concord, a key event leading to the Revolutionary War. Most of the men were at the ages of 15. That was a fighting age at that time. 15, 16, 17 people, that's a kid. They're dying. April 19th of 1993, government forces raided David Koresh's compound in Waco, Texas, resulting in the death of 25 children. April 19th of 1995, Oklahoma City bombing, leading to the death of 19 children. April 20th, 2010, this is the one I think killed the most kids. Deepwater Horizon offshore drilling rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico, causing 11 deaths. But then think about all the water that got poisoned, all the pollution from that could have led to the death of a lot of kids, that swam in that water. And so to me, that one could have definitely hurt a lot of kids, but it killed 11 people. And then you have Columbine, 1999. Columbine school massacre, where 12 students and 1 teacher were killed, 13 fatalities on the 13 days of preparation. The 13th card is the death card in the tarot deck. April 30th, we're not going to say this guy's name. His initials are AH. Every time I mention him, I get taken down. He had that stupid mustache, and he wasn't a big fan of donuts people in World War II. He was reported dead on April 30th of 1945, which was the birth of the Church of Satan, and his birthday is today.
Yep.
420. Today is his freaking birthday. So it's in that 13-day period. May 1st, 1776, we all know the Illuminati, right? May 1st of 2003, George W. Bush mission accomplished speech on the U.S. Abraham Lincoln declaring end of major combat operations in Iraq. And then May 1st of 2003, the invasion of Iraq under the name Iraqi Freedom, which lasted 21 days. And 2011, the announcement of Osama bin Laden's death by the United States. So we can say that a lot of things happened during this time. And this ain't even, I could have kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. But like the blog gets too long after a minute. So I just put some key points up there. And this blog I did, Logan, it talks about all the planetary alignments this month too.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, brother, we are in and that 13 and 31, dude, the Matrix 31, 13 is 31, and then you got the number 1331, which is supposed to be this ultimate eclipse number, that eclipse that went over Wuhan, China. This was the first case of the Black Death. It went over Wuhan, China in 1331. It was called Hubei back then, or Hubei or something. But that's a crazy code too, 1331. But yeah, so this 13 days of preparation, the number 13. What are your guys' thoughts? Logan, you want to go first?
On the 13th?
Well, yeah, the 13 days of preparation. Why, like all these deaths happening on that day? What do you think about it?
Well, first and foremost, I want to. This may be new for some of you, but if you're somebody who's a fan of numerology, consider that you have a life path, and the life path is you take your birthday and you add it up. You can do it like my birthday is February 4th, 1973. So it's 2 + 4 + 19 + 73. Okay. But that's the Gregorian life path. So any day that you see on the calendar, any of these days here, like April 15th, 2013, you take 4 + 15 + 20 + 13, and you're going to get your total. However, that's the Gregorian aspect to it. There's a pre-Gregorian life path. So all of you that are fans of numerology, if you want an alternate way to look at your life and an alternate way to look at the calendar, you start to subtract 2 months from your total, because you see, before the Gregorian, you had the Julian calendar, and Julian calendar took January and February and moved it in position number 1 and number 2, removing March as the first month. Now, March is a very significant month because of the fact of the spring equinox, which is where the sun is directly overhead the equator, giving light to both the tropics on either side in equal proportions. So this is why these dates are all around the equinox and the sun kind of on that equator, but then it's starting to slightly move back towards the Tropic of Cancer, right, in the spring equinox. And this is where you're going to get all these layers to it. But April becomes the second month. And now April 18th, the Waco, that now can be looked at as 218. That's what stood out to me. But if you're willing to do this with your life path personally, for all of you listening to this, I promise you that many of you will resonate more with your pre-Gregorian life path than you will with your Gregorian life path. Wow. So this is what I want to add to that for that. But the 13 obviously is massive because you have 13 cards per suit. And the 13th card is the King of Hearts or the King of Clubs or the King of Diamonds or the King of Spades. All the kings. You have the King's Chambers, and the King is tied to the number 13. And the number 13 is tied to the element aluminium, and aluminium is the element that sits in the very middle of the astrological map. And the astrological map is tied to what runs this reality in a big way, through magic and stuff like that. So 13 is tied to Jesus and the Christ. I just looked up Bohemian Grove, and I think I'm going to have to do a decode on this.
Oh, I would love to see your decode on that. And okay, now hold on a second. You got to go back for me.
Yes.
So you said for the spring equinox, it's going into Cancer. Now, this is interesting because there's this whole Cancer narrative right now. And in that movie, he sacrificed his wife to Bohemian Grove, and they don't really explain how, but she dies of some advanced cancer. And she's letting him know in it that he did it to her for fame, and then you have Kate Middleton with cancer. There's a bunch of other people that just died of cancer.
It's big, man. It's starting to, that cancer is really starting to come out on the world stage in a big way. I think that it's possible that we see a lot more of that on the rise. And there's a very specific reason I'm not going to mention, but I think if you put 2 and 2 together, you'll know what you can link it to. But of course, again, on on March 21st, that's kind of there's several days when the sun is directly overhead of the equator, giving you the spring vernal equinox. And that is where it is going to be moving into the Tropic of Cancer, moving away from the Tropic of Capricorn. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is what runs the way you feel about life. That's why when you get married, you go on a honeymoon, because it's all about the way you feel about the situation in life. So this is how this reality is harvested through energy. It's mainly around the way you feel about, I don't like the way that this, and I don't like the way I feel. Or if it's not the way you feel, it's going to be the way you think. And the way you think is derived from Mercury. Mercury being the trickster, the way you think about things. So Mercury, and just coincidentally, Mercury and the moon both equal 23 in numerology, but that's for a different story. But nonetheless, those two astrological positions sit directly across from the Tropic of Capricorn and Kronos and the sign of Sagittarius and Jupiter. Jupiter and Saturn are father and son, and right below them in house number 4 and 5 is the moon and Mercury. House number 3 and 4 is the moon and Mercury. Those two.
Now, when do we move out of Cancer?
Well, you're moving into the Tropic of Cancer for the spring and summer equinox. For those of you that are north of the equator, once you hit September 22nd around there, then the sun moves back to the equator, and now it's on its trajectory to move back down towards the Tropic of Capricorn. Those of you that live in the New Zealand, Australian areas, Chile, all this, Argentina, that's all Tropic of Capricorn. That would be September 22nd, right around there. September, October, November. That's all the Tropic of Capricorn.
Wow, that's interesting. And guys, you guys know I do my personal readings over on truthfultv.com, right? And mine are a little different than Logan's. He's talking to you on the phone. He's putting a lot of time in. Mine's pretty basic, 26 bucks in it. And I'm actually going to add another level to it because I think I'm charging way too less when I look at the industry standard. But it's mine's an email decode, right? And I cover your life path number, your destiny card, your birth card, do your gematria, all that stuff. But Logan goes even further. So when I do my readings, I always put Logan's links down at the bottom when I send the email over to you. A lot of you that got one, you have noticed that. And I say, if you want to even take it a step further, you can contact my brother Logan, part of Truth Mafia. And he over here does his personal readings, and they're just phenomenal, guys. He has 3 levels of them. And you got number 1, Could you talk a little bit about your different levels, Logan, that you offer real quick? Yeah,
the number 3 reading is a tarot reading your now energy. We pull 13 cards based on the astrological map in real time compared to your astrological map of when you were born. I do everything with sharing my screen through Zoom so you can see exactly the cards that we choose. We go through each house one by one. We go over the energies, what's to prepare for, some adjustments that you can make. This is in real time now. This is the number 3 reading. If you're interested in getting an astrological reading, a numerology reading, human design, I bring all those layers in, tarot cards of illumination. It would be the minimum number 2. And that number 2 reading is going to give you about 2.5 to 3 hours of your tour, of your life, and to show you exactly what you're made to do. If you're kind of ready to make it and graduate to the next level, if you feel like this is something that you're ready to do, I'd be more than happy to. I love doing readings because I get to see every single one of you is a superstar. Every single one of you is here for a legacy. You just got to find it. And I love showing people their legacies. And, part of the legacy that you need to find is shutting off a lot of this mainstream that you give your energy to. That's why I'm for me personally, I don't follow the mainstream. I have to get it secondhand from somebody else unless I'm doing a decode. And because I shut it off, I'm able to pay attention to my code. And so if we believe we live in a copy, I don't pay attention to the copy. I pay attention to the organic, natural, raw code, which is who I am and what I show and give you the tour of. And that's the number 2 reading. The number 1 reading just comes with a personalized report, which encompasses a lot of human design. So
That's good advice too. Like if we do live in a copy and we're paying attention to the copy, I never thought of it that way.
But I mean, nevertheless, what I found is that the astrology and numerology, man, it's an energy harvester. So like no matter what way you slice it, the astrological map and your numerology and your life path and your name and where you were born and the latitude, longitude and the birth certificate, how much you weighed when you were a kid, all of these layers have significance to who you are. And then you figure out what your looks like. And when you get the interpretation of it, then you can start to look at like, oh my God. And then if you feel the urge to go towards something and you see it in the code, that is a gimme to move into that layer of your being. But then you also want to pay attention to where you're being triggered in your life. We all have traumas. And part of this journey is to not give any energy to the traumas, and you get rid of them, and they lie dormant. You get rid of them completely, not sweeping them under the rug, but getting rid of those traumas. And you become aware of your conscious code. A lot of you are reactive in your reality. You know, a lot of people push your buttons. Oh, you push my buttons, and you now pull out, like I say, you pull out your Mars card. You get angry. You use your aggression. That's a lower chakra. You got to know consciously when and when not to do that kind of stuff. And that is part of understanding the astrological map, the numerology, your human design, Enneagram, personality types, cards, tarot. All of those layers are important to look at in your reality. So
now this one right here, I was reading this one, dude. This one is top notch, dude.
Yeah.
You you put a lot into that one, the number one, don't you, bro?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I put a lot into all of them, but definitely, I mean, this is my best. Like I do more of these readings than anything else. But I put my heart and soul into them, you know, because all of you deserve it. I'm not here to get a trophy, blue ribbon. I'm not in this for likes and subscriptions. My job is to show you what your code is. That's what my job is. And once you know your code and you invest in your code, you can become the best version of yourself. You can form your legacy and your masterpiece, which all of you are here to do. And if you're willing to pay attention to the code, man, you become like, it's like a lightning bolt. I look at a lightning bolt. Tommy, if you could just open up this is the last thing I want to show. If you could open up a web browser and just type in lightning bolt. And this is a really good analogy to take into consideration if you're on this path of, you know, you really want to move into a higher state of being. Just look at a lightning bolt. And I think this is how life is. I think, and this is why lightning bolts are used in the gods and deities and in big ways and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to consider that if you look at a typical lightning bolt right here, you're going to see that the typical lightning bolt has a main vein to it, right? It has a dominant path of trajectory. And then off of the dominant path of trajectory, you have some smaller bolts coming off the left and right-hand sides. And this is life. But nonetheless, no matter what, that energy is going all the way in the same direction, down. It's headed down to the ground. You want to be on that main vein. You want to be on the deepest, darkest, brightest spot of that main vein. That's going to give you the best experience in your life. What happens is we deviate away from that because we're supposed to, life is happening for you, not to you. If we get in this rhythm of, hey, it's happening for you. There are no accidents in your life. If you go away from that main vein of that lightning bolt and you go off onto a different trajectory, onto the right or left-hand side, you're still going towards your path of fulfillment. It's just going to be a different experience. But I really feel like this is a great example because if you're on that main vein, you're in the flow. You're in your prime. You're riding that wave. It's like surfing. If you're a surfer, you get on the board, you ride the wave. You don't jump off halfway through the ride. You go all the way as far as you can, and then you get off and you ride back. That's riding this main vein. And this is what readings are designed for. Whether you do it yourself or you get someone to interpret it, whether it's me or somebody else, this is what you need. This is the fulfillment. And we're moving into the age of Aquarius, or we already have. It's the I know thyself. This is what the whole thing is all about. But one of the requisites, ladies and gentlemen, is you got to stop giving the energy to these other people that are trying to steal you. Like Ronnie James Dio in Black Sabbath. Everybody knows that song Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath off their great album. Yeah, he said, Ronnie James Dio said, the world is full of kings and queens who will blind your eyes and steal your dreams. Okay. Wow. Because what do you think NASA is designed to do? They are the dreamers. They have the Queen of Hearts card, the dreamer card. They need your energy to make their dream a reality.
Wow.
So everybody focusing in on whatever is being marketed fulfills the dream. So if everybody stopped watching the damn news, what do you think would happen to the news stations? They would collapse, which means that these brands that are supporting these news stations would also collapse because they pay for the airtime. That's why the Super Bowl ads are so expensive, because they charge top dollar because all the eyeballs on it. Why? Because they're harvesting energy. It's very simple. It's just magic 101. So when you get on that main vein, man, from getting a reading, Tommy does great stuff. At the very least, you should get a reading by Tommy. Get your basic fundamentals. And if you want to go deeper, you can do it yourself. Get somebody. But you get on that main vein, man, that's the starting point. And then you don't deviate away from that main vein. You want to go and pay attention to politics, you're going to go off that main vein. You're going to get drawn off that main vein.
Reminds me of too, bro, when me and you did that decode on Loki, and it was making the alternate timeline.
Yeah, that's an exact great analogy, Tommy. Great analogy. Great analogy.
Reminds me of.
Dude, I can't even begin to tell all of you because it's personal. I just had something happen to me just the other day that is beyond, like I will never ever defend the fact that my reality is being ruled over by something I can't describe to all of you. And it's not just how it was with somebody else and somebody else. 4 people were involved in this thing that's happening in my life personally. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that my reality, we could be talking about other dimensions and parallel lives, and we're running parallel lives and parallel dimensions. Folks, I can't even begin to describe to you what had happened to me over the past couple of days, but it's just too uncanny, and I don't need to defend it anymore. I already know this is my truth and my reality. Maybe you personally, you've had something happen to you where something you can't people just like, oh, you're crazy, you're nuts, but it happened. Or you saw something, I just know. People think, no, I'm crazy. It's like the kid that can see, ghosts, and you're like, you're crazy, but the kid can see what you get, So it's like, maybe it's for your eyes only. Maybe it's for your experience only. Maybe you've had one of these experiences. But man, telekinesis is happening and people are using it right now. And it's becoming more and more widespread. And why is that? I'll tell you the answer, my opinion, because the age of Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. I know it's co-ruled by Saturn, but Uranus to me is the ruler of Aquarius. And Uranus is the planet of electricity. And electricity is why we're moving into the electrical age. And the electrical age is about telekinesis. And it's about the brain and the brain running on neurons and firing with synapses. And that's all electrical impulses. We're moving into that age. And this is where you know yourself. You know yourself. You don't need to defend who you are. And then you could start to match up with people instantly and automatically. So the people that you're hanging out with right now, I can promise you're supposed to hang out with them. Anybody you've ever dated, anybody you're married to or ever been married to, you are supposed to be in those relationships with those people. There are no accidents in your life. Everything's happening for you. And if you stop blaming organizations and just start realizing that there are archetypes just like you co-creating, your life becomes so much more fruitful, and it becomes more blissful. And stuff like that. I'm not saying don't go out there and do your conspiracies and all that kind of stuff and look at that kind of stuff, because maybe you're born to do that, to show the world how this stuff works. But I'm saying is invest in you, in yourself, to know how you can make yourself the best version of yourself. Because like Tommy, if I get to hang out with you guys, I don't want to hang out with you after you've had a long week of like you just broke up with somebody and you're a miserable prick. And then it's like, I don't want to hang out with you in energy like that. I want to hang out with you when you're like, oh my God, life's amazing and everybody's happy and we're having a good time. That's the person I want to show up and hang out with, right? I don't want to hang out with somebody miserable. Nobody wants to do that. How do you become the highest percentage, highest pinnacle of yourself? Study your code, know what you're born to do, and don't deviate away from it, no matter what, because people will try to get you like, oh, you hear it all the time. People say, well, I don't think you should do that. Yeah, well, for you don't want me to do that. That's your code. But why would I want to listen to your freaking opinion, man? I got my life. You don't pay my bills, but you want me to listen to what you're doing. No, I don't think so, man. I'm going to tell you, all of you right now, the last thing I will say, you are the star of the show, man. You're in a movie and you're the star of the show and you're being watched. Okay. Just imagine you've got a camera following you around 24/7. Your life would be different if you really had one following you. You start to act and behave. You got called up and say, hey, I'm going to come film you a reality show. And now you got cameras. They show up at your house. I promise every one of you will act differently. You got to act differently. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're being watched. So you might as well just start behaving according to your code and do what you want to do instead of what they're telling you to do, and stop being reactive. Be more active. Be more active and less reactive. Don't worry about what they're going to do. Focus on what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do in this life? A lot of you are not doing what you want to do because you're paying too much attention what they're doing.
You broke that down at 1 hour and 28 minutes into the podcast.
There we go. Huh? Yeah.
It's organic synchronicity. That one.
Yeah, man.
And within Donut's code, he might not know it, but he has a lot of psychic capabilities.
He's got the freaking Queen of Clubs, man. She's like that's card number 25. I told you, it sits in the house of Jupiter. It's the Queen of Wands. That's card number 35. Simulation is 35 in numerology. I could go on and on with the 35.
Oh, donut equals 31, matching the matrix too. Like he has a lot of psychic capabilities, and he does it on accident all the time.
What if he did it on purpose? What if you do it on purpose? Now you're a game changer. Now you're living out a masterpiece and legacy, man. You know, you got to practice this shit. Mozart, one of the great piano composers. His parents probably made him practice. He probably hated his parents. He was practicing 6, 7 years old, but no matter what, that dude was guaranteed destined to be a prodigy in music. Didn't have a choice in the matter, but he had to practice. So if you want to become a decoder, if you want to know about your code, you got to practice. You got to read, study. And the payoff that you're going to get is you stop listening to what they're telling you. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Oh, you should listen to this. Oh my God, what about this? What about it? What about your opinion, dude? I'm going to do me, and I'm going to rise to my fame, and because you're the star of the show. And I want everybody to get this because you're the star of the show, man. You're the movie star, man. You are it, man. So
it's wild because when I started Donut doing the deep dives, as me being a fan of yours, watching, stuff before I started just doing my own decodes, pointing out the symbology. I was going through this period of my life where I was like, I'm done listening to everybody. And it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault at all. It was all my fault because I always was asking. I was like, oh, what do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? Rather than me just taking decisive action on my own. And it makes sense why I did that, because I got into recovery, and the way of my own will and my own actions got me to a bad place. So I needed mentors at that time. But then years went by where I was at a point where, I can take some actions, and I stopped listening to the crowd. I stopped listening to people as much, and went internal and said, you know what? I'm going to make this donut video, even though everybody's telling me you can't do that. You can't talk about Mr. Hanks like that, the greatest actor ever. You can't go on there and say, and I said, no, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I quit my job. My whole family was like, don't you quit your job. These are uncertain times. And I said, I'm not going to listen to them. So when I quit, I didn't even tell them. They didn't even know. And then I started taking action on my own. XRP, for example, that everyone said, no, don't buy it when it was 19 cents. And I went all in. I put my entire savings, which wasn't a lot, into it. And then that thing pumped up, and then I sold it and started the donut factory. So, but I'm happy you said all this today at this moment, because I've noticed that, I'm starting to fall back into asking, oh, you think I should do this? Or what should I do? Instead of being like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm happy that you brought that up. You brought up a lot of cool stuff, especially with the Cancer, because the top of the Royal Arch for the summer solstice, all the ancient buildings were facing east for the summer solstice. And that's that 6-9 or the 9-6. We can see how prevalent that is in the Queen's death, right? At 69, or the other one at 96. And right now, all the royals in the news, it's all about Cancer, OJ, Cancer, all the stuff. And I believe that it is astrological. And I'm happy that you tied in the March 21st going into a Cancer sign. I don't really understand that too much, But what I am looking out for are some certain dates for the future with all that symbology. I used to think that one thing went down like a 9/11 and that was the ritual, right? But now looking at it, I can see that it's not just one thing happening that's a ritual. There's multiple initiations or multiple things that happen throughout a year, maybe longer than a year. Maybe it's a century long ritual. I'm not sure. But from 2023, when Gangsta Boo passed away, she had a 6ix9ine album. And she's from Memphis, Tennessee, and she's connected to Miley Cyrus through 3 6 Mafia and Juicy J producing Miley Cyrus and whatnot. And Miley Cyrus was performing underneath this royal arch. So I could see that symbolism there, but it seems like it's continuing on. You know what? I think it's just a yearly ritual. I think it's just a year because every year we get the new seasons, and those seasons are for the ritual. So I think that the rituals, like a 9/11, is for the entire year now that I'm talking about it. I don't know where I'm going with that, but O.J. Simpson passed away at 76 years old, and 7/6 is when the Guidestones collapsed. It's George Bush's birthday. It's 50 Cent's birthday. So I'm looking at that date. But yeah, that's just something I'm just adding on top of what you were saying with that. It's something I've been looking into.
Well, you keep in mind the Georgia Guidestones opened on March 22nd, which is the 322, and it collapsed on July 6th. And you know how long it was? 3 months and 14 days in between those two dates. What's 314? Pi.
That's pi. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
3 months and 14 days in between March 22nd and July 6th, the collapse of Georgia Guidestones. That's tied to Ra, folks. So now you're getting into ancient Egypt. How do I get it to tied to Ra? Go to the periodic table. On the periodic table, there's only one element that spells out the word Ra. It's called radium. Radium has 88 protons. How many miles per hour did the DeLorean have to get in Back to the Future to time travel? 88. So 88's Ra. And 88 Ra has an isotope number 226. That's its isotope. If you take 88 and you add 226, you're going to get 314. You're going to get...
Bro. My birthday is 2/26/88.
That's right. You're born on the 26th. There you go. Yeah, I mentioned
2/26/88.
Yeah. Ra, yeah, exactly. And Ra's tied to Jupiter. Okay, it's tied to Jupiter in a big way, man. Big way. But Ra is the sun god, and you have the pyramids have everything to do with this. And I broke this down on Khufu. But you have Ra, and then you have the Ka, and then you have the Ba. The Ra, the Ka, and the Ba are the three main components of what it means to be a human being. And Ra is the law of one. The law of one says there's only one. Everything all originates from the one. And you can branch that into theology. Isaiah 45 verses 7, Yod He Vah He, saying, I make peace and create evil. That's duality, but it's I do that. I do that. So you go to the periodic table. What is the element that has the I? Iodine. What's its protons? 53. The latitude, longitude of the Vatican City, 41 degrees north, 12 degrees east. What's 41 and 12? 53. Iodine. Bohemian Grove is the 126. It's longitude, latitude. 126 is the weight of the 53rd element, iodine. It's all this stuff is paying tribute to this the I. It's service to self. It's the I, and it's the I. It's the I of providence, the I of Ra, et cetera, et cetera. It's all connected here, folks. It's just like, that's why if we all just go on a deserted island and we just turn all the mainstream off and we start to co-create on a deserted island, what would happen? You know, what would happen to your life if you just had a freaking break from the mainstream? Have you ever done a detox from the mainstream? I did. I do it all the time now. Yeah, you pay attention to what your code is. You have a beautiful life.
Now, Tommy, if you could share my screen, because you're bringing up these elements and I don't understand them and you do, but I've been looking into CERN, right? And speaking of all the green, CERN turning things green, Cernunos, like Tommy Truthful was saying, is green.
Can I say one thing real quick, and then I'll do that
Sure.
for you? You were talking about cancer and the number 69, bud. Well, did you know cancer diagnosis equals 69? And Kate Middleton did that video on 3/22 of 2024. 3 plus 22 plus 20 plus 24 is 69. And the cancer
That's
time
crazy.
is 6'9", brother.
That's crazy, bro. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, yeah. Ain't that
That's
nuts?
wild.
Yeah, and 347 is the 69th prime number, and the word God is 374, which is the same numbers used for the 347 in
And
numerology.
An eclipse is 69 too.
Eclipse is 69 in English, right?
Now, I
Yeah.
think we're going to come up on some egg rituals for the summer solstice, because what got me into all this 69 stuff, egg equals 69 as well, or 19, I mean. Okay, so this right here, this is straight off of CERN's website. They have a new video out how they're using the large collider to actually get rid of cancer. So they're hooking people up to the big, large, yeah, it's crazy. But they showed these two elements, so I screenshotted it.
They're all about radium. I did a decode on CERN before, and that element is heavily connected to CERN. But go ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
I just want to know what's your opinion on this, Logan. Just right off the bat, like, what do you see when you see this? You know,
Right off the bat, well, radium and polonium were both discovered by the same person, and polonium is tied to the moon. Polonium's tied to the moon. The moon is the dark side of the moon. The moon may be the great gig in the sky, the great server in the sky. It may be the server. We live in a computer. The moon may be the server. That's why Christoph was on the moon in the Truman Show. Don't leave, Truman. I've created this reality for you. Don't leave. It's better at Sea Haven Island. Polonium's tied to the moon, man.
Okay.
So what about them two mixed together?
Well, they give you the 172, but then if you add up the isotopes, you get the 435, and you can branch off into so many different directions. You can do the numerology on them, but when you add up all the numbers, the neutrons, protons, electrons, you're going to get the number 607, and that's the 67, and that's tied to Kenneth Charles Reeves. His birth certificate name is 67. 607, 67 is a big number. 67 is tied to non-player character. Okay. It's so much, dude. I mean, I'd have to show you. I know I'm just
you're bringing up the elements, and then I just remembered. I sometimes I just screenshot things.
Polonium? What is the element polonium? What is the common use of this element?
It's synthetic, and it says on the Royal Society of Chemistry it was first used in the lunar for the moon, in the lunar spacecraft on the moon. Wow. Now, of course, some people are saying, "Oh, we didn't go to the moon." The story is all that matters, folks. It doesn't matter if we went there or not. It's the story that matters that's in the source code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Of course, yeah, whatever.
Is polonium radioactive isotope?
Yeah, I believe it is. It's synthetic. It's synthetic. It's not a natural element, polonium. Oh no, actually, is polonium a natural element? It may be a natural element. It's one I haven't really looked into. Let me just double check because it's 84. I think it may be a decay. It'll definitely be decaying from radium for sure. Marie Curie is the one who first isolated it.
And
maybe it's a rare element. Yeah,
I got that off the CERN website. Yeah, I think maybe that it could have been just talking about that guy you were talking about and his importance to CERN.
Donut, how the hell did you get your Rumble people to show up in the comments? Why don't my Rumble people show up in the comments?
So I figured it out, bro. I figured it out, bro. Yeah.
I just noticed this.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, it's dope. It's dope. Yeah. So you just got to connect your Rumble to your StreamYard. Bada bing, bada boom.
Can you teach me that later?
Yeah, it's so easy, bro.
Okay, thank you, brother. Because I'm sitting here looking. I'm like, wait a second. Who are these green people? I never seen them before in the comments. And we got this whole podcast. We've had 600 people in the podcast the whole time. So
it's not counting the 300 over on Rumble right now.
Or my Rumble, which I don't know how many's on there, but probably 100 or so. Let me look.
Yeah, please smash the like button. Like there's only 50 likes on Rumble and 300 people watching. So please smash that like button. I want to get up in that Rumble algorithm.
Which Rumble, shout out to Rumble because they're doing a lot of really cool deals right now with content creators, and we got to end with them. So we're trying to work out a deal where we can do some exclusive content over here on Rumble and not have to worry about YouTube. I'm just so sick of YouTube taking my channels down. I built the last one to I built the last one to, it was at 11,187, which is crazy when they took it down. Can you believe that? 11,187 exactly. And the night I seen that number, Logan, I remember thinking it was on Pi Day. So it just turned, it was 3/14 Pi Day, and it was at 3 a.m., and I'm doing a video, and I had 2 videos going viral at that time. My one video on Facebook, it went like crazy viral. It hit 618,000 views within 24 hours of being up. So I was making all these sales and readings at the time, and then I said, man, something's going to go wrong. I could just feel it in my stomach, and bam, my YouTube channel went down. And that was the same night they froze my PayPal account. So I had to, mess with that and deal with that. It was just, it's like when you have something really good going on, it never fails.
I'm telling you, man, it just got to laugh. To me, you're just getting harvested for your reaction. So when you become non-reactive and you just be like, okay, I'll just adjust to, like, 2 weeks ago, I had to fly to the US. I flew in and out. And when I was going to the airport, I was so running behind, man. It was a long story, but when I got there, I was like running, and then I was at the wrong terminal, and then I had to go, and I didn't think I was going to have enough time. And I caught myself reacting, and I'm like, I stopped, and I'm like, something's like watching me and laughing. You're not going to get a show. So if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't care. I'll just adjust. So that's what I did. And I ended up making it 15 minutes to spare. But like this is what we do when we're not consciously aware of the now moment. We start to react and we start to freak out. And that energy, I'm telling you, is being harvested.
I talked to Santos a while ago, and I even brought up what's the difference between, I thought it was one of the most brilliant questions. I was like, what's the difference between Iamblichus and Aleister Crowley? And Iamblichus like lined his will with the gods, right? So he wasn't on his own will, unlike Aleister Crowley, So I asked him that, and I think Santos responded similar to that. Then he was all like, and Crowley was worshiping the Nephilim or something like that. But it's very stoic, having an acceptance of what is happening at the moment, and it is spiritual in its wisdom. And that's why I love the serenity prayer so much, because having acceptance has nothing to do with being a doormat or allowing things bad to happen. It's accepting reality as it is. Oh, my plane's delayed. Okay. Like, yep. I'm not like, oh, then you get so mad and reacting to it. That's probably some sort of test to see if we pass that test.
Yep.
I've noticed it with dating. If you want a date, you're going to get no dates. But then once you just say, you know what, I'm good, then the dates start showing up. Or even that same thing with money as well, or with so many things. And it's something about letting go and having the acceptance. It's a stoic thing, but that doesn't remove the action to take place, to take the action or whatever. But that was tight.
That is tight.
I never get many dates, but I do get a lot of dick pics in my
what?
I swear to God, it's so weird, and I'm definitely not
crazy,
gay.
Bro.
So could y'all please quit sending me dick pics on Instagram?
Bro, you're gonna get so many now, bro. That you
I
said
appreciate
that.
the gesture.
You're gonna get AI ones where there's like 3 in one shot.
Yeah, dude, I'm serious. I get them all the time, and I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with these people? I've had older women like 60 send me fully naked pictures. I'm like, oh boy, but I always joke around with them. If it's like a lady, I'll be respectful and just joke with her. A guy, I do not respond. Usually I block you because I'm not into that shit. So don't be sending me.
That's hilarious, bro.
But they do. some weird shit they send you. And I get like the conspiracies I hear, they'll send me full, like whole 7-page documents of this breakdown of this conspiracy they came up with, that some are really good, but there's some, dude, that make no sense. And you can tell like they're living in their own little, something's going on in their life. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a lot of them believe that they're being monitored by extraterrestrials through their TVs and all kinds of weird shit. I've heard so much crazy stuff. It's pretty fascinating.
I think if people were to take their conspiracies and go write a screenplay, you become a filmmaker. I think a lot of you could become filmmakers by what you believe is to be happening on the world stage, but you just want to go out there on your social media and tell the world about it. You could make a film out of your shit, or make a book, or write a book or something, man. You should probably put it to use instead of trying to think it's the right way to go. I think that making a movie or a book would be something, at least line your pockets with it if you believe that passionately about it.
Do you think there's any aliens influencing society, Logan?
Well, Jason and I talked about this with the underground aliens. I think that to me would be the more profound way to look at this reality. I think if there is something, it's been underground for quite some time. There's been a lot of, when you connect the dots, there's been a lot of eyewitnesses saying, living in caves underground, and they've been there for a long time. You can get into the Nephilim, the fallen angels being underground. You can get into what's the mountain over in Syria, where the fallen angels. Mount Hermon. The UN has a huge a base up there.
Yeah, and it has an 8-pointed star on it, bro.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
which is a representation of stargates. Well, I got a whole code on the 8-pointed star. Yeah. Man, it gets into Nibiru and all kinds of stuff. So that is fast.
There could be. I mean, I broke down. There's a song by Eddie Money called "2 Tickets to Paradise." I've got 2 tickets to paradise. Won't you come in? You know that song by Eddie Money? I've got 2 tickets to paradise. You guys know that song? No,
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And you were started out in this game as a pole shift. I'm still kind of, I like it. It's a cool conspiracy for me, the whole pole shift thing. Well, this is a mainstream article. Speaking of pole shift and a little synchronicity, this just came out right now. What might happen if the Earth's magnetic poles flip? And
shit show is going to happen if it does.
Is it? Yeah, it's going to be a shit show, but it might be a good thing because, maybe I think we go through these cyclical events. Archaic, shout out to him. He calls it the Phoenix phenomenon. And from what I've interviewed him like 3 times, and from what I gather of his information, it seems like he thinks it's like some type of maybe a weapon system. I don't know if that's the right way to call it, but he believes it's not from alien technology, but from human technology that live in inner Earth.
Yeah.
Could you? What did he explain to you about the Phoenix phenomenon? What did you get from that? From talking.
Well, he's using his calendrical numbering system, which is based on a 24 number system, among so many others. But 24 is tied to Jesus, which is Jesus. That's for a different story. But I just want to throw that in there just so you know how big the 24 is. Yep. But the Phoenix event, he's using specific numbering patterns. The 138, the 138 is tied to the 56, which is tied to the Law 1 material. So he's using very specific stuff. But I think that the Phoenix events they don't have to necessarily be on those 138 timelines. The 1988 Economist magazine with the Phoenix right on there, which is Scorpio and the Eagle. I mean, get ready for a one world currency. That's going to be a Phoenix event. You're seeing it right now. We're already seeing it. You're talking about theology and the 7 seals being open. That script in the scriptures playing out, that is all tied to the pale horse and all that. Everything that's been happening over the past couple of years, this is all pale horse stuff. This is all Phoenix stuff to me anyway.
Yeah. I agree with that. And did you see that that volcano, bro. So that this volcanic eruption happened in Indonesia the day that all that stuff was going on in Dubai. The earthquake happened down in Japan. The aliens allegedly came in through the portal and all that stuff. And when I was looking at this, dude, I did a video on it today. It's on my Facebook, guys, on Truth Mafia podcast and my Tommy Truthful 3691. So what I did is I zoomed in on these images. I took all the images the mainstream media put out here for us, and I zoomed in. Oops, what the hell is going on here? Oops, hold on. I messed up there. Sorry, you guys. Probably making you sick. Okay. And I zoomed in on these, and I'm telling you, bro, there are so many things that look like entities inside of that. And bro, I had the raw video. So I slowed the video down, showed the video. It's the coolest thing. It's like something straight out of Stranger Things, Logan, when it's happening, when there's lightning going off inside it. I mean, I never seen nothing like it, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of Stranger Things, I just started watching. I just went through season 1 and season 2. I started watching it again. I haven't watched it for a long time, so I'm going through that again. But yeah, I can see the face right there, right? That the very obvious one.
Yeah, there's many. There's different angles of pictures, and you can get the best faces like in the video, because I actually seen people. I swear to God, dude, it looked like they were people made out of electricity in there. And then there's this like lion creature up in this area. You can kind of see his outline of his face here a little, but in the video you can really see him. And so I go look. Is there any storm gods back in the day with this lion face? I'm thinking of y'all the Baal. Well, there's this dude named, I'm not going to pronounce his name right, but Pazuzu.
Okay.
Pazuzu. He was a wind demon, and he was the one in The Exorcist, that entity. He kind of looks like a reptilian with wings. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Pazu. But man, when you read his mythology, it's so crazy. Like all the ancients used to wear him as an amulet, as a protector god, like demon. So they were thinking of demons as something different than us. I guess they were using them as protection. And there was this other demon that was connected to the volcanoes. So back in ancient time, there was like many demons connected to different natural occurrences. I found that very fascinating.
Yeah. Very interesting. Well, keep in mind, astrologically right now, Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn. I'm speaking from a Vedic astrology chart standpoint. I'm not talking about tropical. I think the true map of the stars is in Vedic, and Pluto is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is Earth. So this is one of the main reasons why you're seeing a lot of these crazy things happening, because Pluto, the disruptor, is in Capricorn, which is an Earth sign, and Saturn's in Aquarius right now. So,
and let me ask you: so is Pluto in 27 degrees Capricorn?
No, Pluto is in the very single-digit degrees of Capricorn. It's in the 21st nakshatra, and it's I think it's at it's in single digits. I'm almost positive. Yeah, it'll be there till 2039. So right before the Phoenix event that Jason Breshears calls out, 2040, Pluto moves into Aquarius around 2040.
Wow. Pluto, the destroyer. Then they call Nibiru the destroyer, right? And Pluto called the destroyer too.
That's right.
Then you have Shiva, the destroyer of CERN. I think there's some connection there.
Yeah, well, Shiva and Pluto are directly connected.
And one more thing, Donut. So we were talking, here's that entity in Late Night with the Devil. This is when Abraxas this isn't Abraxas. This is called Mr. Jiggles, and he's a lesser demon, a lesser archon of Abraxas. And Abraxas is one of the top archons, but he's not the top. The top dog is Yael the Baal. And then Abraxas has the chicken head. So remember, guys, if you've been watching my videos, you know I've been saying there's been a Brassix coding all throughout. The Gentleman had the chicken on the cover, and now this movie just comes out, which it literally has a cult in it, where this girl's from, the satanic ritual abuse cult, which is the cult of a Brassix. Ain't it, Donut?
Well, it goes even deeper. Like, we were covering the Illuminati worms and tying that into a lot of Gnostic elements as well. And this video was full of that symbolism as well with the worms.
Yep. He thought he had worms. The guy's head that's spun backwards right here. You see his head?
He thought he had worms. Yeah. And then at the end, the guy was holding a big worm in his hand.
Yep. Oh. And when the girl, so like, at the end, the flashback where it was actually him killing everybody, and then he's seeing himself like doing all these different movie sets, and he's wondering what's going on because he just seen that happen. So it's like he's reliving his life, that part. And then that's when he goes into his wife. He sees her and she's dying of cancer, and she's like, you know, before she would ask him how he did that to her, and you could tell that at that point, you could tell, oh shit, he sacrificed his wife for fame in Bohemian Grove, because this entity right here told him, I seen you amongst the trees, the tall trees. And it was talking about Bohemian Grove, remember?
So Yalda Bayoff is a worm.
Yeah. A worm with a lion's face.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what is Abraxas? Abraxas isn't Yalda Bayoff. That's two different things.
Yeah, they're two different. Abraxas has two serpent legs with a chicken head.
And they're different, like, gods? And
yeah.
Yalda Bayoff would be the top one?
Yes, they're archon.
If you connect in the Gnostic archon tradition, Yao is the Yod, which is Jupiter, which is Abraxas, and then above that would be Yaldabaoth in the 7th position, which would be Kronos.
I gotcha.
So essentially, if you look at the astrological map, not only is it harvesting your energy, but it runs a lot of your code, and it's a team effort. So when you start to break down specific events on the world stage, it's not just looking at one celestial position or one planetary position. You got to look at them all, because it's like a team. It's like you go out onto the field, and there are a football field, soccer field. There's so many players on each side. That's how you start looking at astrology that way. That's how it works.
Right. That's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah. So, but Abraxas, he's a high-ranking one next to Yalda Bayoff. I would call him like the second, right? Ain't that correct, Logan?
Yeah, well, in the archons, Yaldabaoth would be number 7, and then Yao or Abraxas would be number 6, which would be then you bring it into, you can flip it into the third eye position and the crown, or you can flip it into the root and the sacral. If you flip it in the 7 positions of the chakras.
And the 7 meaning is number 1 instead of it being 1 through 7. Number 7, Yalda Bayoff, would be like the top dog, though, right?
Yep.
And he was created by Sophia. And then, like, what is up with Sophia? Who was she created by, I wonder?
Yeah, I know.
So Sophia would be like, if we're going through this number thing, 8 or 0.
Yeah, well, Sophia. So Sophia is from the Greek, right?
Yes.
So that story. I think the Greek numerology of Sophia is 16.
There's his wife with cancer, Logan, at an hour and 26 minutes in, and this is where he's like, you know, she pretty much is talking to him about he sacrificed her for fame out in the Bohemian Grove. He didn't directly like kill her, but that's the deal he made.
Right. It's the soul stone. It's the soul for a soul.
Yep. And how many people do we see this happen to? Really, in Hollywood, this happens. Kanye West, his mom dies. Like, there's all Jordan. He right before he gets his what was it, a 6th champion or whatever championship, his dad dies. Like, we see it happen over and over.
Well, yeah,
and
and I
over.
would even say that it's probably like every single one of you, it's happened to you in your life. It's not, you don't have to have a death, but some incident will happen and then you get something out of it in return. It's an exchange. You'll see it happen in your life if you pay attention to it. It's happened to every single one of you.
But with this, it seems like they're contacting these archons and making a deal with them. And I think that I totally believe in the archons, and I believe that they do have some powers that they can grant certain things. Back in the ancient time, they called it many different names. The jinn, the demons, but it's really the archons. And some people think they're reptilian aliens. I think they're one and the same myself.
Yeah, they could be.
Personal perspective on that. But yeah, this movie was definitely very fascinating. So much symbolism in MK Ultra mind control, and it was crazy. Donut. Yeah, I'm glad you told me about it, bro. Look at this. This is when the demon was like manifesting out of her at 1 hour and 18 minutes in, Logan. 118.
Yeah.
The Matrix and Ordinal.
Yeah.
That's how, look how it's coming out. It splits her head open, dude. It shoots like plasma out of her, electric, and then this is when he's coming out.
What's that? What's at the 108 marker?
At exactly 108?
Yeah.
Let's go and see. That's what I like to do too. I like to look at the movies at certain markers.
Yep.
Because that's the best way to do it, dude. Let's see, 108. 108 is a very important number too. It's a sacred number. So I have like this whole theory with life path numbers. 108 is pretty much where he was talking to the skeptic. Or this guy. The skeptic dude.
I'll have to watch it and go
That's where he hypnotizes him and turns him into a worm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what's happened at 108 in. He hypnotizes that guy and turns him into a worm. Because he's saying that whole thing that they just seen happen was the doctor hypnotizing that girl and putting her under a spell. And so he's like, yeah, the doctor hypnotized the whole audience and which he did do it, and it worked on this guy. But then, you come to find out, no, it wasn't hypnotism, because that entity kills him, totally burns him right up. Like he got hit with a directed energy weapon. That's what I was thinking of too, Donut, when that was happening. He looked like he straight got hit with a direct energy weapon, bro. And so like I got this theory, right? With like life path ones, I was reading all these ancient I was trying to look into reincarnation and like find out the cycles, and because I heard so many different theories. So everything I was reading was suggesting that we would reincarnate 6 times as a male, 6 times as a female, which would be 12. So life path 1 will go through like 12 of them cycles. Then a life path 2 would go through like 24 of them cycles. And we would finish as a life path 9 going through 108 of them cycles. So that would be, and then reincarnate equals 108, bro, in English ordinal. Yeah. So I went down this whole rabbit hole with the number 108, reincarnate, and just trying to figure out the mathematics behind it with life path numbers. Just something I was looking into.
Yeah, well, 108's 1/2 of 216, which is the divine triangle. And then
see the thing on it.
And then 108 divided by 2 is 54, and that's Zeus, and that's News Station 54, and they live. And then if you divide 54 again, you get 27, which is tied to the Great Pyramid of Khufu, because Khufu's 27. I say the pyramids have a lot to do with it. But Tommy, keep in mind, your life path become pre-Gregorian, bro. You become a 3 life path, man.
I am a 3 life path for real.
Wait a minute, your birthday's on January 17th.
Yeah. I'm January 17th.
That's right. Yeah, you're.
So what would I be pre-Gregorian? Still a 3?
Yeah, because January becomes the 10th month.
Oh
So
yeah, so
it'll
yeah,
be
I
the
like
same thing.
the
You're a
three.
straight three. You're straight three. Yeah. I mean, that's Mercury. I mean, what are you're doing a lot of Mercury, doing a lot of the way you think. You're
Yep.
doing a lot of thinking.
And I'm a good talker.
Good talker, communicator, good, good artist. You're already of artistry. This is all Gemini Empress, mercurial energy.
Yeah, I like
You want to
that.
see what your Mercury is at in your astrological map. That's going to tell you a lot too.
And that's my birth card in the tarot deck. I'm the Hangman, the 12th card, and the Empress, the 3rd card. Shout out to the Empresses out there,
Yep.
Now check this out. The 108. When I was looking into different things with it, in the Chinese astrology has 36 beneficial stars and 72 malevolent stars, totaling 108.
Yeah.
So there's like all this 108 connection, and the only thing that it wouldn't that stand out of that code would be the master numbers, the 11s, the 22s, and the 33s.
Yeah.
So this is like part of my reading. I got a bunch of things saved. So I made templates. Like, okay, for example, if you're Life Path 1, I already got a template written up on that. You know what I'm saying? What it means. Oh, you're Life Path 4. Boom. Here's the whole breakdown on a Life Path 4. So I already have that template written up. And then in my theory, that would mean you would have 48 reincarnations, which simulated reality is 48. And Life Path 4 is very interesting, Logan. I'm glad I got to talk to you about this, okay? Because I'm trying to figure some things out with it. It's all connected to death, bro. And 4 in the Chinese culture is very similar to the word death, right? And they, how we're kind of scared of the number 13 here in America, they're that way with the number 4 over in China. And Life Path 4 equals 187. So I'm like, man, what is up with all this death connection with the Life Path 4? And I'm pretty sure their tarot card is the death card.
The 4?
Yeah. As far as their birth cards, they get 2 birth cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Their birth card is the the 4 is, hold on, let me see where.
The Emperor. So you're talking tarot.
Like, oh, here it is. Life Path 4 equals 187 in reverse ordinal. And then that's in the reverse ordinal cipher. I know you're not a huge fan of that cipher.
No, not at all.
But I was just looking at like this whole death connection. That's the only reason I even looked at that cipher, because I seen that they had the death card. And I'm like, man, why do they have the death card in the tarot?
Yeah, I mean, we're on this cancer thing. I mean, consider cancer is the 4th astrological sign. One of the most debilitating diseases on the world stage is cancer, tied to the moon, tied to the way you feel, tied to the number 4. There are 4 blood types. There are 4 seasons. There are 4 card suits. The number 4 equals 23 in numerology. The word blood equals 23 in numerology. There are 4 blood types. Blood is 23. 4 is 23 in numerology. 4 blood types.
You have 23 chromosomes.
23 chromosomes. Yep. 23 in me. So, I mean, this is and 23 is called the royal star of the lion in numerology. 23 is tied to the moon and Mercury.
You actually have 46 chromosomes, 23 for your mom, 23 for your father. And then 23 spelled out equals 46.
46. Yeah.
So that's very fascinating. But yeah, dude, this 4 thing, so 4 has a connection to the cancer thing, right?
It does. But you talk about that the assets of the 4 is it's somebody who's highly structured, highly in tune with building something. They can be teachers, they can be builders. They want to have a lot of structure energies. You want to look to the house of Taurus, where they're at. You want to look to their house of Capricorn, their earth signs. You want to go to the astrology map to look to the number 4. Well, how do they feel about this reality? Where their moon placement is for that 4 life path. And if you have a 4 birth card, 4 hearts, 4 diamonds, and stuff like that, then you add a deeper meaning to the number 4. But 4s are teachers and builders.
Well, I think I did pretty good then.
I think you did really good, man. Yeah. What I'm reading here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did pretty decent.
Yeah.
So I try to make my own templates, and I really researched a lot what I looked into. But there's only one fear of a number, and it's the fear of the number 4, and it's known as tetraphobia, bro.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
I found that very interesting. There's not a fear of the number 13. There's not a fear of the number 3. Only the fear of the number 4. There's like a real phobia that people have called tetraphobia, which sounds ridiculous. Like, what? You're scared of a number?
Yeah.
But in the Asian cultures, it's associated with death. That's why how they say it phonetically, like it's SI or something, psi, which is very similar to death. But yeah, definitely fascinating. And I would definitely recommend that you check this one out, Logan. I think you'll find it pretty good. And Donut, for you, bud, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but what's it called? Rebel Moon Part 2's out now, bro.
Okay.
Remember,
No, I've never watched it before, but okay.
you never watched Part 1?
I just watched The Office, and that's it.
No, you watch movies all the time. You're always decoding movies with me.
I watched Civil War. That movie sucked.
It sucks so bad, bro. It was like the worst movie ever. But you never I thought you watched Rebel Moon.
I watched Baby Reindeer. That was nuts.
Did you watch that? I didn't see that.
It was nuts. But I want if you have like some mental kind of problems, don't watch that. Because it like brings up like
a disclaimer there.
Yeah, it's like could be traumatizing to some of the topics.
What's this new one about? The Spiderwick Chronicles. I'm gonna check that out tonight. That looks pretty good. But yeah, no, Rebel Moon is so good, dude. It's I would love Logan to watch Rebel Moon 1 and 2 and then me and him do a decode on it because man, dude, they're bringing people back to life with like these life bed technologies. And in Rebel Moon Part 2, it's all about they had to harvest all this grain on this planet, and the mother planet was coming to steal it. So it's very much about food shortages coming. But it's kind of like a Jupiter Ascending, Logan. Something very similar to that type of movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the mother planet runs it all, and that's kind of like the Brassix family. There's this royal family. Pretty good.
Well, I mean, go ahead. Go ahead.
You go ahead. It's fine.
No, go ahead, bro. You started first.
So, Bitcoin halving probably taking place today. Some are saying. Any thoughts on the astrological alignments right now with the Jupiter, Uranus, and Bitcoin halving, or any like commentary just on that?
Yeah, well, Bitcoin turns 15, right? It's 15 right now.
Right.
That's a big deal. XRP is 15 in numerology. XRP turns 15 this year. 15 is the mirror of the 51.
Right.
So that's what I would lean towards. 15 is phosphorus, which is tied to Lucifer, which is tied to light, which is tied to how this reality works. Bitcoin does 23 in numerology.
Okay.
But let's see, the card Bitcoin, you got Satoshi the 5. Yeah, and Satoshi Nakamoto has the 5 of spades, and the 5 of spades is the May 1st card. Who's the May 1st birthday?
The Illuminati.
That's right. So Satoshi Nakamoto has the same birth card as the Bavarian Illuminati. Coincidence? Nope.
Interesting.
Not at all. But it's the Jack of Spades that's the card of Bitcoin, because it was the Genesis block 0 was the Jack of Spades card 50. There were 50 Bitcoin mined when it first came out. So it's the Jack of Spades. And right now the Jack of Spades sits in the King of Hearts position. And the King of Hearts is card 13. So.
Yeah, it's nuts.
This one was good too. Fallout. This is the one I did the decode on, guys. I was trying to show Logan. So like
Yeah, Jordan was talking about this quite a bit.
Dude, it's so crazy. This guy's in it. What's his name, Donut?
I don't know, but
He's a Jewish comedian, dude. He's so funny, man.
I'm not sure.
He makes fun of Trump all the time. He used to, back when he was younger, I can't remember his name. That drives me nuts. Michael something. He's kind of a big Instagram person, but I can't believe you don't know his name, bro. I don't either, though, so I can't think of it either. But throughout this whole thing, bro, so like there's this company that takes over society, and they all go underground in these vaults, and they nuke the surface, Logan. And then there's all this cloning technology down there where they're cloning themselves. So their plan is to murder everybody on the surface and out survive everyone. And then there's 3 pods down there, 31, 32, and 33. These 3 vaults, right? And 31 is the controlling vault. That's the one where everybody's getting cloned in. And they are the ones that are running 32 and 33. And in 33, they're being bred. They're being bred to be very compliant, and they'll repopulate the world. That's what their job is to go back up after they wipe out the surface and repopulate. Ain't that crazy how 31, 32, and 33?
Yeah, 31 is huge because it's pi into phi. Pi is 3.14 and phi is 1.61. These 2 mathematical equations, I'm telling you, that is a big part of the source code. Behind the final product of what you see, behind it is the pi and phi ratios.
Yeah, this is good, dude. And see this guy, how his nose is gone. He's been alive for like 200 years, and he does this. He does an inhaler thing. It's some kind of drug that they're on that lets them live, but if they run out of it, they turn into like freaking zombies, dude.
What movie is that? Oh, this is that
Fallout.
Oh, that's a series, right? Oh, yeah, it's a series.
It's a series on Amazon Prime. It's freaking phenomenal. I decoded the whole thing.
That's the thing about these shows. So it's inevitable, right? We give our energy, but this is how these things. You think about this, man. You go all the way back. If you just take the basic fundamentals of comic books, and you go back to comic books started out on a 2-dimensional piece of paper, and they eventually became 3-dimensional through making the dolls and all that kind of stuff. And then they go into a movie. So they go from a comic book page to a movie screen. And the next stage is where you're going to get the comic book heroes in real life. And that's next. That's coming. You'll see that next. And how does that happen? Through magic. That's how evolution happens. Magic. Through people's intention focused upon a movie and saying, oh, and then talking about it and doing exactly what we're doing right here. We're decoding, because we're all part of this. The Phoenix event, I think, is the transition into a new age, and all of it. We're all part of that. We're all part of the Phoenix event.
We're all making it happen.
Absolutely.
Like, we're watching the movies, then people are talking about it. Then I say this all the time, like, okay, 9/11. Think of all the movies we watched, Logan, before the towers fell that showed the Twin Towers falling. Yep. That put that thought in our head. And just like the alien event, there's so many movies that have showed aliens invading, especially through portals. And then we're thinking about that. And now we're starting to see stuff like that happen because we're creating that reality.
Yep.
So you got a question. I wonder sometimes, is the decoding, I hope it's good and it's exposing the code a little or helping with it and not actually adding to the manifestation. You know what I mean? But it probably is.
Yeah, well, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. It's inevitable. So you just go back to you're doing your job. You and I and Donut and everybody here, everybody watching this, if you're interested in conspiracies and the code behind the code and the final product, you're doing your job because of your interest in that. That's your placement in this reality. And there, I think that the great proverb says, when the game is over, the king and pawn go back in the same box. And I think that is very true. No matter what your role is, you have a part in this. There's nothing greater or smaller in this reality, and there isn't anybody ruling over you in a sense. It's just you against you.
You against your evil twin.
That's it, man. Your doppelganger.
So look at this, Intervault 33. So all the rulers came from 31, but he don't know yet that that's because it's a cloning lab, 31.
Yeah.
So, and the Matrix is 31. So it makes sense that 31 is the one controlling 33 and 32. You would think it'd be the opposite way in Freemasonry, but 31 and 32 are 2 degrees that are very interconnected. And then 33 is an honorary degree.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that you got to be picked to can't just become a 33rd. Somebody's got to select you to be a 33rd. But yeah, fascinating.
Sure.
Some good movies to watch, guys. And we did 2 hours and 24 minutes. I know my boy Donut's probably getting tired, so I really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. I always love podcasting with both of you guys, and I had so much fun. I always do with you guys, man. All the links, guys, are down in the description. Make sure you check out Donut's channel. Go check out his Patreon. Check out my stuff. I just put out that Decode on the show I showed you, Fallout. You get to watch it with me, all the clips, and that's on my Truth Mafia website. You can become a made member for $8.88 a month. If you wonder why does Tommy always use the 8? Well, it's supposed to attract money. You notice most of my stuff on my store, $26 or $17. 2 + 6 is 8. So that's my whole theory behind it. And that Gary, the numbers guy, taught me that. It seems to work. I will tell you that. There's something to the number 8 attracting money. It definitely does seem to work. And check out my boy Logan. He's got some amazing readings over there on cosmicsugar.org. All of his links are down below to his YouTube channel. He does some phenomenal work, and he has a Patreon too, where his Patreon videos are just next level. Just like my boy Donuts. They both do such a great job on Patreon. You go over there and get wicked smart with Donut,
Tommy, you know what's interesting about you, and this is again the code. This is why I'm such a fan of life and the code. So you have the 10 of diamonds card, January 17th, which you share the same birthday as Jim Carrey. But that 10 of diamonds card is the fortunate blessings card. Prince, Michael Jackson, 2 main names in music that have that. And then the one guy who had that birth card as well was Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was like the godfather of personal development. Shout out to Bob Proctor, the late great Bob Proctor. He taught you how. He has a series. If you're somebody who wants to earn more money in your life, if you're broke or you need a change in your life, there's a free workshop on YouTube. I get nothing for this, by the way. It's called Born Rich, and it's a 1980s seminar. There's 3 or 5 videos. The original ones, it's about 11 hours. If you're willing to put an hour a day, every single day into that video for the next year, I promise you that you will start to have more money in your life. And the very reason is because you're supposed to. So if this has bells going off for you, or you like, oh yeah, that interests me, then this is the next stage of your development. So Tommy, one of the reasons why the number 8 chose you is because the 10 of diamonds is what you're housed underneath, which is the fortunate blessings card. So money is a big thing for you in your life, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I've always been able to manifest it out of, like, dude, whenever I come into a hard time, it's so bizarre. Money will just come. I've always said that to my friends too. Like, I'm not proud of this, but when I was younger, I sold a lot of drugs. I was probably one of the biggest drug dealers in my neighborhood at 16. I had multiple cars. And then now I built 3 successful businesses. And anything I've ever put my mind to do, I've always been successful at it financially. You know what I mean? I've never really had a rough time. Even though I grew up poor, I grew up in the projects, but I always somehow manifested money. And it's pretty cool when I found out the 10 of diamonds, when I read about it, the fortune and blessing card. So yeah, you're right, man.
Tommy.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
I'm just happy we brought up Bob Proctor because this guy was OG. I mean, this gangster rap
OG baby.
B-boy. I seriously, this image right here, I'm stealing his brand. That's gonna be my next like VHS.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, dude. You're gonna do that. That's gonna be your next like.
That's been on my like plan for like.
You're going back. How you going to cassette tapes?
Yeah, I mean, look how hard. Look how this is original. This is like OG.
Dude, I have the original book on PDF. I have his workbook anyway to follow along with the seminar, dude. He was the man.
Look how hard that goes.
So he had the same card as me.
That's right, 10 of diamonds.
And so a lot of people that seems to had these cards, you had Prince, you have Michael Jackson. Then I built the Truth Mafia. I think that's going to be very successful, which I'll leave behind. You know, what my goal is with that, Logan, is by the time I die, so many people have tried to buy it and get involved, and I won't let them because I want it to be right now, my AI technology pulls your guys' videos, transcribes them. It costs me a couple dollars for each video, but that's no big deal. I make the money back many different ways. And it transcribes the video. So I got that site pretty much running on auto, bro. And then if I die, it just can continue on. Hopefully my son can carry it on and other people that I trust within the Truth Mafia. That's my whole goal with it. And
you know, with someone like you, someone who has a 10 of diamonds, you know, and then there's other layers, you know, what your human design, you know what your human design is? Have you looked at your human design, your gene keys, any of that stuff or no?
No, what's that all about?
Well, it's another system, right? But it's just another layer of the onion it's another tool in your toolbox, right? So if you're going to show up to work, I want to have the screwdriver, the hammer, the saw, the chisel, the power tools. I want everything. And this is how the mystical arts is. You want to know as many layers of your being that you can, because those are tools in your toolbox to show how you work and how you operate. So for someone like yourself who's a 10 of diamonds, more than likely you're going to have success no matter which way you turn. So if something's not working for you, you don't become attached to it. You have the ability to let it go, because that is what is going to cause you disharmony by trying to force something. You don't need a 10 of diamonds doesn't need to force anything. It just realizes like, that's not for me. That's not for me. And it just moves on to the next project, knowing that fortunate blessings is right around the corner for you.
That's funny you said that, because I have had to do that a couple times, you know, and I can pretty much let something go. And you do have to do that in life. But it's so this is my question as we're signing off. Do you think there's no free will? Like it's just all.
Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that, bro.
Yeah, because that is a touchy subject.
I mean, Robert Sapolsky does some great work on determinism and the philosophical aspects that he brings out on free will. Him saying you don't have any free will, and he doesn't just state that as an opinion. So it's easy to say, oh, I have free will. Okay, prove it to me. You see that you won't be able to. Okay, but he goes into a theoretical position on why you do not have free will. And he goes into determinism, and he brings up a lot of key points. And, you know, I plead the fifth on this because I like to think we have some to make myself feel good. Like, oh yeah, it's me that did that. But the more and more that I surrender to my reality and realize that I'm not in control of it, this is, for me anyway, my life has become the best it's ever been.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I like to think we have free will too. I hope we do, but
we don't even know what our next thoughts are going to be.
Yeah.
That is true, brother. Don't I? Yeah, that is definitely true. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. So that is very true.
Like who knew we were going to be talking about Bob Proctor OG, you know?
He's the OG, man.
I know you talk about him a lot though, but that just, yeah, Bob Proctor, I used to, back in 2008, 2007, I got like, that was it, bro.
That's about the dude. I was running parallel because I was around the same time that I was studying his stuff too. The
Yeah,
Secret,
it seems like
Bob
we're both
Proctor,
very parallel from what you were
for sure.
talking about. Yeah,
Donut, can you tell us
because
a
I was
little bit
listening
about?
to Alex and all that as well around that time, 2012 especially, Fukushima time and all that. And
I'm gonna take me a nice little edible right here for 420, and
Dude,
hey,
fire?
yeah, I got some nice edibles back here, guys. And I've been smoking the whole time. Some King Louis, the whole
Jesus.
podcast. But
I've been sober the whole 420.
Me
I'm
too.
proud of you, brother, and that's awesome that you are, man. Great job. I'm always proud of you. I always support you. Can you tell us a little bit about the Seppuku eyes before we sign out, Donut? Because I've been seeing you talking about it a lot lately, and you kind of, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of offended me. You said my boy Jake Paul's gonna get beat, and
Well, he's not my boy. He's whack.
He's cool, man. He's my boy Nick knows him in
Well,
real life.
but he was. It was either him or his brother. They were in my neighborhood, causing havoc, breaking into stores and stealing stuff. So can't do that in my neighborhood. Ain't gonna allow that. You know what I mean? So,
and you said he was allowed to do it. Like they didn't even arrest him. They were letting him break in.
No,
right?
he's a Disney asset.
So who do you think's gonna win? Logan, Jake Paul.
That's how I knew nothing was going to happen on the eclipse, because the Mike Tyson fight hasn't happened yet. So that's
for sure.
That's a guarantee nothing's going to happen, right? But anyway, that's for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mike Tyson's going to completely crush him, but you never know, because it's entertainment. And the thing is that what you'll notice, what I think is fascinating, is what you'll notice is you will side with one or the other. If you hate Mike Tyson for whatever reason, you're gonna give your energy to Jake Paul. And so this is what it is, folks. Are you gonna watch the fight? That's the question. And if you watch the fight, guess what you're doing? You're going to give your energy to one of those characters on the world stage. It's no different than watching the presidential debate with the Republican and Democrat getting up on the stage, and you're going to give your energy to one of those characters, and they're going to get it, and they're going to use it to manifest through. Same thing. It's just in sports.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'll watch the previews, like the reruns of it, to see who won. I don't ever watch the fight because it's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? But
if you share the screen, Tommy, I'll go over.
I'm just telling you guys that right now. I wish Tyson would win, and Tyson would win if it was a real fight. But it's not going to be a real fight. It's going to be scripted, and I think Jake Paul will win. They haven't beaten all these people. He could have never beat none of them people in real life. But my boy Donut says he's going to lose due to the Senpaku eyes, and that a Donut might be right, and I might
okay. So the thing is I think that everything in me says that Jake Paul will win, every single thing. This is the only thing that's making me say no, is because of the symbolism that I've uncovered, that I've noticed of pattern recognition of the Senpaku eye. Now, if I'm trying to zoom in, dang it, hold up a second. Let me see. I got to make this a bigger screen for me to show you it.
So Donut, you should go with your first gut feeling, because I'm telling you, you're very psychically in tune. And if everything in your body is telling you to go with Jake Paul, ignore that Senpaku shit and go with Jake Paul.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm predicting stuff. This is just a hypothesis of symbolism that I've been uncovering. Now, if you look at Jake Paul, it's very subtle. Yeah, he's doing the shush. If you look underneath here at his eye,
he have a butterfly tattooed on his freaking ear.
He's got the Illuminati pyramid right here as well.
What's up on his ear, Donut? Look up by his ear. It looks like a butterfly or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but look right here. His eyes are showing the 3 whites underneath here.
Yeah.
Which means that trouble or stress is coming your way. It's not bad. If people have eyes that have this on different sides, I'm saying nothing but symbolically, this is maybe a hint to insiders or priming that he will lose only because of this symbol of this. In the last UFC fight, I was showing this hypothesis of UFC 300, and it was accurate. And
Yep,
Mike
you were
Tyson
accurate.
doesn't have it at all. And then everyone was yelling at me that I didn't post it early enough before the fight. So I decided to post this hypothesis to see if it's true. It could be true or not true. We'll see.
But the thing is, you recorded it before the fight on your Patreon. You just posted it after, but it was already recorded before the fight. That's how you got the video. So you did predict it before the fight. And I stuck up for you in the comments. Most people just don't use their brain and think. Like, hey, dumb fuck, he has a podcast on Patreon, and that's where he literally predicted it from before.
Hey, how about the fact that it's on July 20th, which is the freaking moon landing date? How about that? The fight's on the damn moon landing date. Yeah.
That's the day I'm launching my new website, aliencartel.com. Shout out to July 20th, and I'm doing it for that reason right there, brother.
There you go.
I'm working with
the moon. We got to look at the astrological map and the moon placement. And take a look at both of their astrological charts, Paul and Tyson. That may be Mike Tyson's a king of hearts, man. I mean, he's like the king of love. It's just very fascinating, which is the 13th card in the deck. I don't know what Jake Paul is, but it'll be interesting.
Tyson was a beast, though, back in the day. What did he tell that one person that he wanted to eat their children?
Yeah.
Remember that? He said, I'm going to eat your children. I liked him when he was like that. Back in the day, dude, you would like bet how long someone would last with Mike Tyson. Like I was born in 83. Dude, I grew up in the prime watching this guy just sleep people. You know what I mean? He'd come in, 1-2 hit, bomb, they were out, done. That was over.
Tommy, Jake Paul's born on the same day as you.
No way.
January 17th.
Oh, he's winning. My boy Jake is winning. He's
27. He's got the currency. Yeah, he's got the. That's a good. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see what happens with this.
So the other decode that this other decode.
Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
This other decode that was connected was this number 72 because Bitcoin equals 72.
Yeah.
So with Jake Paul being 27. Like I'm just not doing I'm not like steady stance on it. I'm just like, yo, this is a crazy symbol. I like to see if it's, it's in its early stages of uncovering it,
Yeah. No, I know. I think it's interesting. And you don't have to tie yourself. Dude, you know how many things I get wrong? If I get something wrong, I just say, I got that wrong. I mean, our followers don't care. They know we're humans. We're not AI. We're not going to be able to predict everything right. So you know what I hate? I hate the people that predict something, or they'll do this with sports betting. Certain gematria people out there, they'll be like, yeah, the Chiefs are going to win, but the 49ers could win because of this. So they pick both teams. It's like, pick one. I'm paying for your Patreon so you can pick. Oh, yeah. So you can pick a winner. Don't give me two. So I respect someone that picks one, and then if they lose, oh well, no big deal. You just say, hey guys, I'm sorry I got that one wrong. We'll try next time, I'm not perfect with my predictions, but the one thing my people love about me is I'll always come out and say, hey, I messed up on that one, I guess, guys. It ain't that big.
I'm usually pretty good, but it's like but it's always like a little different. So I was all like, the Earth's going to turn green in Sioux Falls, but it didn't. It turned green in Dubai. And
we were
like, the bridge is going to collapse on 128, but it didn't collapse on 128. It collapsed at 128, so it's like
because that's your little psychic shit connected. Yeah. And all about your whole code is very psychically in tuned, even your gematria. And so you're picking up on some type of frequency and you're getting it, but you're just maybe a little off. You know what I mean? You just got to work on it a little more, fine tune that bitch, and you'll be all right, brother Donut.
good, good.
And with that being said, we're up out of here, guys. We love y'all. At 2 hours and 43 seconds, we are out.
August 21st. Keep your eye on that date.
August 21st or August 12th.
August 12th.
We're out, guys.